a little more full. Kick-off, we're almost ready to go. Martin Atkinson looking at his watch, and again, once the game starts, I'm sure all the players on this pitch are going to take a knee as part of the Black Lives Matter movement. That is what is written on the back of all their shirts here. So Martin Atkinson just waiting to get the nod from the TV people on the side of the pitch to be given the OK to get this game underway. Brighton Arsenal starting shortly. Watford 1, Leicester 1 in the 12:30 kickoff in the Premier League this afternoon. And we're not quite ready to go, so a couple of the Arsenal players still going through a few warm-ups. Hector Bellerin is hopping feverishly on one leg. We've got a light breeze just fluttering through the stadium. Whistle blows, game starts, and all the players drop to one knee, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well, closest to us in his red and white shirt, also holds his right arm in the air with his right fist clenched. Martin Atkinson blows the whistle again, and we're just about ready to go. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang sprints immediately down the left-hand side. Shkodran Mustafi looks up and tries to find him with a long diagonal ball. Scilotto with the long ponytail starting for Brighton at right back wins the header. Bukayo Saka loses out in the tackle against Yves Bissouma. Bellerin is there. His pass forward is blocked by Dan Burn. And so Brighton, with Aaron Moy, have the ball just inside the Arsenal half. Given away, Lacazette is in sharply. It's played back to Matteo Guendouzi. Sees a little bit of space to run into, then threads a low ball down the right-hand side. Pepe is there, gets his cross in to the far post. Aubameyang with a flying volley, looking for that 50th Premier League goal. He didn't quite catch it, and the first chance of the game goes to Arsenal. But all of a sudden, here come Brighton on the counter, and it's the Belgian Trossard who immediately, up to the corner of the Arsenal penalty area, is one-on-one with Rob Holding, gets the pass away to the left-hand side. Shot from Neal Maupay, blocked at close range by Matteo Guendouzi. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0, and a very bright start here. Let's go to Ascot. John Hunt.
A big one underway here, Ali. The St James's Palace Stakes turning for home. 3 furlongs left to go. The bell rings out. All eyes on Pinatubo to see if he can work his way from the back of the field here and land this big prize. He was a star 2-year-old of last year. He is now rattling into contention. The leader here is Wichita, who finished ahead of him in the 2,000 guineas. Threatened Pinatubo joining in. Down the outside, Palace Pier and Frankie Dettori once again. Now Pinatubo's going to have to dig deep for this. He's come to the furlong marker with a slender lead. Pinatubo's got 2 good horses either side of him, Wichita and Palace Pier, and Pinatubo's got a fight on his hands, and Palace Pier comes by. It's Frankie Dettori again. Palace Pier has won the St James's Palace Stakes, and it's a photo finish between Pinatubo and Wichita. They were second and third. No stopping Dettori. It's his 6th winner of the week, and unless Jim Crowley can do something very special in the 3 races that remain, Dettori will be crowned champion Royal Ascot jockey once again. He's won the St James's Palace Stakes on 4-1 chance. Palace Pier, a brilliant race. Pinatubo beaten again, Ali.
Yeah, thank you, John. We'll be hearing more from John and possibly more from Frankie Dettori as well. He's on Sceptical in the big race at 3:35 at Ascot this afternoon, the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. Another winner for him there. And Karen Carney, it does just start to feel like a sort of old-school Saturday on BBC Radio 5 Live at the moment. We've got reporters at all 8 championship games kicking off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Fulham 0, Brentford 2, Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 3, Millwall 2, Derby 3. 5 goals at the Den this afternoon. Premier League football in front of us as well. What have you made of the early stages here? Brighton 0, Arsenal 0.
I was just seeing how Arsenal was set up, really. Guendouzi's in midfield holding, and Saka, who usually plays left back or left wing, is actually in the midfield 3 with Ceballos, so that's quite interesting how they've set up. We thought they might have gone 4-4-2, but Arteta, he loves 4-3-3, and similar, he took that philosophy possibly from Pep, who always plays 4-3-3 at Man City. So it started quite lively considering the quick turnaround of games, and we'll see how they get on as the game progresses.
Just reminded me as well to run you through the 2 full team lineups. Matt Ryan, the Brighton keeper in bright green, has the ball on the edge of his penalty area. Scilotto at right back, Dan Burn, number 33 at left back, Adam Webster and Lewis Dunk, the 2 centre backs, Bissouma, Davy Proper and Aaron Moy, Pascal Gross and Leandro Trossard in support of Neal Maupay. Long ball forward looking for Maupay. Leno is well out of his area, Arsenal's keeper, and wins a diving header. Saka is tackled. Aubameyang gets his first touch of the afternoon. Lays it back to Saka, who puts Kolasinac at left back under a little bit of pressure here. Maupay slips as he tries to hunt him down. Kolasinac's clearance is low. He got a little bit lucky with that. It ran to Bukayo Saka, who, as Karen has just explained, is playing alongside Dani Ceballos, ahead of Guendouzi in a midfield three, Bellerin at right back, Kolasinac at left back, Mustafi and Holding, the two centre-backs, with Mari out injured, Socrates out with a thigh problem at the moment, and David Luiz suspended. And then Aubameyang and Nicolas Pepe on the flanks. Aubameyang left, Pepe right, and Alexander Lacazette through the middle, with Mesut Ozil amongst the Arsenal substitutes. Karen Carney.
Just watching how Arsenal build up as well. We said they've gone in the back four, but actually the back three, it turns into a back three, and Bellerin comes in and plays as centre midfielder as well. So they're trying different tactical sides to try and...
Ball given away by Davy Propper, could be a chance for Arsenal here. Aubameyang hits the shot and it's high and wide with his left foot and behind for the goal kick. He had Lacazette ahead of him to his right-hand side, but he decided to go for the effort and couldn't get it on target.
That's the rustiness there of Brighton. Is it giving it away to Aubameyang right in the centre of the pitch there? He's on his weaker foot, takes it and he kind of like scuffs it away, and thankfully it goes wide. But maybe that's that first game syndrome where they haven't really found their feet, a bit rusty and not as slick as perhaps they usually would be.
Matt Ryan under a little bit of pressure, clears with his right foot from the edge of his 6-yard box. Here's Scalotto, tall, strapping Italian at right back for Brighton. Guendouzi on the ball for Arsenal, just inside the Brighton half. Ceballos is tackled, but Kolasinac is there for Arsenal. Plays it back to Rob Holding, who's had his injury problems for Arsenal in recent times, but when he's played, he's certainly played well. So Holding and Mustafi, the two centre-backs, and we say a big warm welcome to our listeners around the globe on the BBC World Service. Pleased to tell you, on BBC Radio 5 Live, we are in glorious sparkling sunshine on the south coast at the American Express Community Stadium, to give it its full name, which belongs to Brighton and Hove Albion. They start the day 2 points above Bournemouth, who sit in 18th spot at the top of the bottom three. Watford with their 1-1 draw of close to within a point of Brighton. Brighton are on 29, Watford 28, West Ham 27, and then the bottom three, Bournemouth 27, Aston Villa 26, and Norwich, having been beaten 3-0 at home by Southampton last night, adrift on 21 points. Arsenal, after their defeat against Manchester City, start in 9th spot on 40 points. Goal in the Championship at Reading. Sohail Sahi.
Reading leading Stoke by a goal to nil. Alistair, good work down the right-hand side involving Mete and João finishing from 6 yards away. We've got piped noise here at the Medeski. I'm not a big fan of that. Reading 1, Stoke 0.
Thank you, Sohail. So that's the first goal in the Championship in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. As I say, we've got reporters at all the games this afternoon, including Ian Dennis in one of the big games near the bottom. That's Hull against Charlton. So Ian would normally be doing my job and sitting in this seat, but he is working this afternoon, and we'll be hearing from him in a little while. I've definitely got second game syndrome. I forgot to start my stopwatch last night at the Tottenham game, and I've done exactly the same thing again today at Brighton. Lacazette tackled. Play continues though. Saka with a right-footed drive, rattles the crossbar. What a hit from Bukayo Saka. Oh, Matt Ryan leaps up, tries to grab the rebound, and is able to do that at the second attempt. Saka on his right foot. Ryan was beaten, and he's denied by the crossbar. Karen Carney.
I mean, I don't think anyone expected him to flip it onto his right foot, and he's hit it. As soon as he hit it, we all thinking Matt Ryan's beaten. Just comes off the top of the crossbar, but he's looked quite lively, hasn't he, Saka, in there? Even though, like we said, it's not his familiar position, but he picked up that second ball very, very well.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta is a big fan. He's just 18 years old, Bukayo Saka. He has been playing in sort of that left wing-back role and been given licence to go down the left-hand side, but as Karen's been explaining this afternoon, in a more sort of central midfield role. Aubameyang wider on the left. The two managers standing a good 10 metres apart at the moment in the shade of the stand that we're sitting in. Mikel Arteta in very sort of smart, casual, long-sleeved black jumper, black trousers, black trainers. And Graham Potter in the Brighton training top to his left-hand side. Scalotto caught by Aubameyang. Martin Atkinson says no foul. Video assistant referee for this game is Michael Oliver. Guendouzi in central midfield for Arsenal. They're in the red shirts with the white sleeves. I think all of them in short sleeves, apart from Lacazette, I've just spotted in the long sleeves this afternoon. White shorts and red socks. Here's Pepe making a nuisance of himself on the right-hand side. Tries to wriggle his way past Dan Burn. Lays the ball back to the edge of the penalty area. Bellerin on the dribble, still going in the box. Then he's tackled. Ball is cleared towards Mopai. Takes a good touch. brings it out for Brighton inside his own half. Got to be careful he doesn't lose it here. Does well. Plays it back to Yves Bissouma. And there's Aaron Moy. Moy looks up and swings a long curling pass out towards the right. Intercepted by Kolasinac. His pass finds Aubameyang. Quickly onto Lacazette. He'll hit the right-footed drive. Great block by Lewis Dunk. Got down quickly. The ball is laid back to Bellerin. Bellerin was looking for the little side-footed pass to Pepe on the right-hand side. But Brighton's goal in the early stages here has been under threat because the crossbar's been rattled, and that was a very important block from Lewis Dunk.
Absolutely. It was a ball played across field from Moy, and he just got intercepted, and you can't do that. And they've penetrated through the heart of Brighton, and that block tackle there from Dunk was a goal-winning goal. This is how rusty I am today. It was a great block, put it that way.
A goal-saving charge. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Worth a goal at that end, but it happened at the other end.
Exactly. Thanks for helping me out. But it was a fantastic block.
So Bissouma, his clearance intercepted by Kolasinac. Quick interplay from Arsenal. Aubameyang again plays the ball back to the edge of the box. The offside flag is up on the far side of the pitch to us. Aubameyang coming back from an offside position. Martin Atkinson just explains it. And so that is a free kick for Brighton. So Mikel Arteta said, Karen, after the 3-0 defeat against Manchester City when everything went wrong, he wanted to press the delete button. Arsenal have started confidently and well here so far this afternoon, haven't they? They
have. They're pressing aggressively. They've been dominating in possession. Brighton are very, very deep, and they're finding it quite difficult to get out, and that's a credit to Arsenal. Like I said, to press at the intensity in the opening 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, especially at the travel that they've had in the game against City, been very good.
Another goal in the Championship. It's come at Loftus Road. Here's Katie Shanahan.
Yeah, it's QPR 0, Barnsley 1. Great start by Barnsley. Have come out firing. Elliot Simones with the goal after 6 minutes. He darted up the pitch and slotted it coolly past Liam Kelly as Barnsley lead here by 1-0.
Brighton coming down the left with Dan Burn in an advanced position down by the byline. Wins them their first corner of the game. The big scoreboard tells me 10 minutes have been played in this first half. And it's Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Reading leading Stoke by 1-0, and bottom of the table Barnsley 1 up away to QPR. Were Barnsley to win, it would take them to 37 points. They're on 34, Luton on 35, Charlton on 39, Hull on 41, and it is Hull against Charlton in the Championship this afternoon. Again, a hush descends upon the Amex Stadium. Were it full, Brighton fans would be roaring, willing their team to score from this set piece. The big men all clustered in a circle around the penalty spot. Corner comes into the near post. Kolasinac heads it away. Bissouma with a lofted header away to his left-hand side. Clever little volley on the right foot by Gross. Cross comes in from Trossard. Good meaty thwack of boot on ball as Kolasinac clears for Arsenal. Scilotto able to pick it up for Brighton. He just crosses the halfway line, goes from sunshine to shade on the right-hand side of this pitch. Down the line he plays it. Dan Burn turns one round the corner. Little tug from Saka, right in front of the assistant referee. That is a free kick. And this is a good little spell for Brighton, Karen Carney.
It is. They've got players higher up the pitch, and Scilotto there, he's done very well. Played a 1 and 2 out on this right-hand side, and he's won himself a free kick, and it's given Brighton now a good opportunity with the height they've got of Dunk, Webster and Burn to get on the end of this now. It's a good chance.
Certainly noticed that as the two squads walked in this afternoon ahead of the game in terms of the physical presence and the size of the two teams. Brighton definitely have the advantage there, and actually Dan Burn is the man at 6'7" who really stands out on the edge of the penalty area. Rob Holding is gently trying to sort of nudge him away from goal. Aaron Moy or Pascal Gross could take this set piece. I think it's going to be Moy. No, Moy over the ball. Gross whips it in with his right foot, deep to the far post. Guendouzi is there. All he can do is head it behind for a Brighton corner. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Reading 1, Stoke 0. QPR 0, Barnsley 1. And Watford 1, Leicester 1. And Karen, match of the day tonight at 10:35 on BBC One. You've just seen the Chilwell. In fact, both goals in the Watford-Leicester are well worth a look, aren't they?
Both Chilwell's, and then the equaliser was top draw as well. So and in the final minutes as well, was fans there to see it.
Trossard's cross in towards the near post. So check that out on Match of the Day tonight, 10:35 on BBC One. Before that, though, live Premier League football on BBC One, the 7:45 kickoff. Big one for Bournemouth. Bournemouth against Crystal Palace. Guendouzi on the ball for Arsenal, attacking down this left-hand side. Brighton in their blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts, white socks, defending the goal away to our left-hand side. Next break in play, we'll take you to the Hawthorns. West Brom against Birmingham. Big game there today. Let's do it now because Arsenal have won a corner. Come in, Pat Murphy.
It's West Brom 0, Birmingham 0. All territorial advantages with West Brom. West Brom have got 3 corners early on. If they win this one today, they're 9 points clear of Fulham with 8 games to go. What an incentive. West Brom 0, Birmingham 0.
Yeah, those are the crucial numbers. Leeds on 71 points, away to Cardiff tomorrow in a lunchtime kickoff in the Championship. West Brom on 70, Fulham 64, and Brentford, having won at Fulham this lunchtime, are up to 63. Corner for Arsenal then. 14 minutes played at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Brighton having beaten Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium earlier this season by 2-1. Neil Maupay with the winner there. Arsenal taking their time over the set piece. Danny Ceballos will take it from the right. An away swinger. Dan Burn wins the header. Pascal Gross in an awkward position can only flick that on and out of play towards Aubameyang. Aubameyang just comes tiptoeing towards the sidelines because he didn't want to stumble into the stands, and then leans over the front row there. And Arsenal have a throw on the left. Kolasinac. The message on the back of the shirt's very easy to read at close range. Kolasinac right in front of me. Black Lives Matter written across his shoulders above the number 31. Another throw in for Arsenal. Let's check in with Ian Dennis then. Big game this one in the Championship. Hull-Charlton, Ian.
Yes, Charlton had just had half a chance. Bomb was played into the right-hand side of the penalty area, but his shot was blocked. It's still Hull City 0, Charlton 0. Very tight at the bottom. Hull just 2 points above Charlton, who are in that last place in the relegation zone. Goalless.
I think I'm right in saying it. Are you at Newcastle tomorrow?
I am indeed, yes. Commentary
yes.
At 2 o'clock, Newcastle, Sheffield United.
Thank you very much indeed. Ian at Newcastle tomorrow. 3 commentaries coming your way on 5 Live from the Premier League tomorrow. Newcastle, Sheffield United at 2. Villa, Chelsea at 4:15. Merseyside derby at 7 o'clock. Holding with an interception here for Arsenal. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live on a Saturday afternoon. More racing from Ascot to come in about 20 minutes' time. The Diamond Jubilee Stakes is on the way. And here's Mustafi playing out of defence for Arsenal. Plays it to his right-hand side, gives it to Pepe. Pepe decides just to knock it back into the Arsenal half. So Mustafi is allowed to bring the ball forward at gentle pace. Plays it across to Rob Holding. Holding brings it up towards the halfway line onto Saka. First time ball from him finds Aubameyang. Aubameyang twisting and turning. Lays it back to Kolasinac. Back into the Arsenal half with Rob Holding. Low ball across the halfway line to Mustafi. Mustafi prompts a little pass down the right. Nicolas Pepe comes towards him. Brighton in their shape, just forcing Arsenal back again. Holding in the centre circle. Finds Kolasinac on the left. Hopefully you can hear a bit of the chatter, the pitch side chatter as well, and get a little bit of a sort of closer ear on what goes on football pitches in the Premier League every Saturday afternoon. Holding again. Closed down by Trossard. Saka lets the pass run. Aubameyang plays it into the feet of Saka, up to the edge of the Brighton box. Little dribble from him, trying to go on the outside. Sliding challenge. Saka goes down. Ceballos gets the loose ball. A couple of shouts from the Arsenal bench for a penalty, although they're a long, long way away. Here's Guendouzi, 30 yards from goal for Arsenal. Keeping the ball in play, moving it around, trying to move Brighton from side to side. Pepe under pressure from Dan Burn. Aaron Moy spots a chance, nips in and wins the ball, brings it away down the left, tries to play a pass back in field. That's intercepted by Pepe, who then steps on the Burnies. He's away down the right-hand side. Dan Burn gets a leg in. Pepe down by the byline, eventually tackled, and the ball is behind for a Brighton goal kick. Karen Carney.
Just seeing both managers there getting very articulate on the side. Graham Potter is urging Brighton to get up to the ball, get tighter, put pressure more on Arsenal, because I'm surprised they haven't really gone and put pressure on the 2 centre-backs of Arsenal, given their, Holding's new in, hasn't really played this season. He really wants them to be more aggressive, and Arteta there frustrated that Arsenal giving the ball away. His principles, keep the ball. So yeah, watching them on the side's been quite interesting.
It's former England international Karen Carney with us here. 144 caps for her country. Arsenal, one of the clubs she played for in club football as well, and won absolutely everything you could win with them. That's what this Arsenal team are trying to get back towards. I heard Joe Willock talking about that sort of thing earlier on in 5 Live Sport this afternoon. He's on the bench for Arsenal today as Brighton have given the ball away to their opponents. Brighton, as we keep saying, without a win in 2020. 6 draws, 3 defeats in their last 9 Premier League games. Optimistic ball from Mustafi from the back, and it comes skidding through off the top surface, and Matt Ryan, Brighton's keeper, is able to grab it with both hands. So a couple of goals in the Championship in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Barnsley bottom of the table, 1 up at QPR. Reading leads Stoke 1-0. Aubameyang has lost it, tries to win it back. Pascal Gross beats him, gives it to Moy. Moy runs through the challenge of Bellerin. He's got Mopai ahead of him in space on the left-hand side into the Arsenal penalty area. Moy calls for it back. Mopai shoots low across goal, and Leno gets down and grabs it with both hands. Let's go to Hillsborough. John Akers is watching Sheffield Wednesday against Nottingham Forest.
0-0, 17 minutes gone. Never been a more low-key start to a game. The team's just kind of limped onto the pitch with very little music. Very, very important dropping of the knee as the whistle went, but since then, not much action. Chance for each team, but Wednesday shading it, I would say, 0-0.
Thank you, John. Hull 0, Charlton 0 as well. Heard from Ian Dennis a little while ago. Rob Holding and Bernd Leno just playing a couple of 1-2s here. Now then, there has been a goal in that game between Hull and Charlton. Which way has it gone, Ian Dennis?
It's a huge goal for Charlton Athletic. It was a corner on the left-hand side. It was flicked on at the near post, and running in almost on the goal line to bundle the ball over was Jason Pearce, the Charlton Athletic captain. His first goal since April 2019, and it's Charlton who lead Hull City by 1-0.
So as things stand, that takes Charlton out of the bottom 3. Long way to go. Aubameyang's been tackled wide on the left for Arsenal. 20 minutes played at the Amex Stadium in the Premier League. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Yves Bissouma just trying to scoop a ball to his right to find Pascal Gross. Has knocked that straight out of play. Throw in for Arsenal. Kolasinac comes jogging to the side, takes the throw. Back towards Rob Holding. Brighton with everyone behind the ball in their defensive shape. Pepe picks it up on the right-hand side. Clever use of the body there to jump from his left foot to his right foot to lose Dan Burn. Goes over a little bit easily, Nicholas Pepe, right in front of the assistant referee, right in front of our referee Martin Atkinson, and both of them just shake their heads and say no free kick. And Pepe stayed down. Pepe looks in some pain, so Arsenal are asking Brighton to knock the ball out of play. We're not too far away from the drinks break either. That will be of concern for Arsenal, who have a few injuries at the moment. And actually Nicholas Pepe, in the early stages, Karen, has looked quite bright down that right-hand side, always willing to run and take men on.
Yeah, he has, to be fair. Just watching the replay back, Dan Burns just trod on his foot there. It was a foul. Referee and linesman didn't give it. But yeah, he's looked very bright. I think I read Mikel Arteta's had a bit of a talking to him and said, look, you've been inconsistent, that's why you're not in the team. For 77 million, I need more from you. And to be fair to him, he's picked the ball up, he's been positive, he's been driving at Dan Burn, who, he's a tall guy. He's not slow, Dan Burn, but it's his first game back. Get at him. So him and Aubameyang have looked quite bright on both wings. Yeah, we've reached the drinks break here in Brighton. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Gives us a chance to get round some of our other games in the Championship. Not been to Kenilworth Road yet this afternoon since kick-off. Jonathan Overham watching Luton Preston.
And it's 0-0 here, Alistair. Playoff chasing Preston, looking the livelier though. They're winning the midfield battles, and one decent chance for them through Maguire. His deflected shot just wide. Luton 0, Preston 0.
10th against 7th at Ewood Park. This is Blackburn, Bristol City. Delith Lloyd.
Yes, and if you can hear some noises because they're playing crowd noise in and around Ewood Park, slightly disconcerting. Still 0-0 though between Blackburn Rovers and Bristol City. Blackburn though have had pretty much most of the possession this opening 20 minutes. Elliot Bennett with the only chance on target, rushing on into the area, but a good body save by Daniel Bentley. Darragh Lenihan has also headed over the bar for the home side from a free kick. And likewise here, they're just coming over to the touchline for a drink break, but still Blackburn Rovers 0, Bristol City 0.
And like Hull and Charlton, Huddersfield and Wigan have relegation worries in the Championship at the moment, playing each other this afternoon. Tom Gale.
Good afternoon, Ali. Yes, two sides sitting outside the relegation zone. Just over 20 minutes gone and it's goalless. The home side happy to take possession up to 70% at times, but we've only had one clear goal-scoring opportunity. Wigan's Anthony Pickleton driving into the box, but it was neatly saved. So 20 minutes gone, goalless here, Huddersfield-Wigan.
Thank you, Tom. The game is back underway at the Amex Stadium. Nicholas Pepe is OK. Brighton have been given the ball back by Arsenal because Arsenal knocked the ball out of play, having pointed out that Pepe was injured. Pepe is just doing his shoelaces up at the moment. Seems to have a bit of a problem here in doing that. So Arsenal are down to 10. What's the issue here? What's the problem for Nicolas Pepe?
I think he wants to cut his lace.
Ah, OK. Scissors have been thrown at him. Probably not the safest thing to do with a pair of scissors, but they landed a good distance away, so he's OK. He's waiting to come back on. Brighton are attacking down the left-hand side. Aaron Moy is on the ball. Switches it from right foot to left foot, back to right foot, then left foot again. Cross comes in, blocked by Bellerin. And the ball goes behind for the Brighton corner. The other thing I discovered today, Karen, so all this thing is sort of covering football in the new world we live in. The flask I brought with me today doesn't work anymore, so I brewed a lovely pot of coffee this morning. Really looking forward to that just for the game. Absolutely stone cold.
I know, I'm missing a coffee now, the little 3 o'clock coffee, ready for the game.
Just picks you up, doesn't it? Just gets you buzzing.
A goal will pick me up as well, so
yes.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, Brighton corner. They're going to be dangerous from set pieces. Lacazette volleys that one away at the near post. Here's Trossard. Trossard plays it back to Pascal Gross, who took the corner. Trossard again on the left. He's closed down, taking their time to get the ball in. Proper with a little scoop past to Trossard, hits it on the volley and almost clears the stadium roof. Had a go, good full swing, very full contact, but absolutely miles off target. As Chris Sutton would say, mind the windows.
Yeah, we definitely didn't get the execution right on that, but again, it's coming from crossing from wide areas, from set plays, and that's where Brighton are going to get a lot of joy today. Sitting the Arsenal team and don't have those leaders, they're vulnerable from set plays, and that came off that second phase there, so Brighton have got to be really on it with the good deliveries and the good crossing situations.
Arsenal have hit the crossbar in this game early on. If you are just joining us on 5 Live, Bukayo Saka with a powerful drive with his right foot. Free kick goes Arsenal's way. And those of a Brighton persuasion you could probably hear around us here in the Amex Stadium complaining about that. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Charlton are 1 up at Hull. Reading leads Stoke 1-0. QPR 0, Barnsley 1. West Brom and Birmingham remains goalless. Here's Mustafi bringing it forward for Arsenal down the right, looking to use the pace of Pepe against Dan Burn. And you heard someone say it's out, it's out, it's out. And the assistant referee confirms that, puts his flag up, and so Brighton will get a throw-in in their left-back position. And by the way, mentioning Chris Sutton, 6:06 this Saturday night with Chris and Emma Saunders taking the calls from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock this evening. So do give them a call, usual number 08085 909 693, straight off the back of Sports Report this evening with Steve Crossman. Adam Webster striding away from Lacazette for Brighton. Low pass, sliding challenge from Bellerin to intercept. Lewis Dunk gets there first for Brighton, plays it back to his goalkeeper, Matt Ryan. They will always play out of the back, Brighton. The centre-backs come close to the keeper, and they're very content to do that and take a few risks. And I've seen them concede a couple this season when they've given the ball away deep in their own half. But that is the way that Graham Potter wants his team to do it. And so that is the way they will continue to do it. Bellerin with a low ball forward, up the right for Arsenal, inside his own half, intercepted. Here's Moy. Moy tricks Bellerin, draws the foul, and wins the free kick. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0.
Brighton are starting to get their rhythm now, aren't they? Getting, like you said, they started playing out from the back, building their confidence, trying to build their way through. It's his philosophy, Potter. He doesn't want to change it, like you said. It's cost him along the route, but he's sticking to it. And you're starting to see now they're finding their little 1 and 2 touch passing. It's been effective. It's causing Arsenal a little bit of problem. They need to be a little bit tighter in defence.
Martin Atkinson blows the whistle again. Free kick for Brighton. This one's going to come in from deep, wide on the left-hand side. It's a good 40 yards from goal. And in fact, Pascal Gross just slides it to his right, and then Davy Proper pings the diagonal, but clubs it long. Probably 2 clubs too much, that, in a golfing sense. Straight over the head of Schelotto and out for a throw into Arsenal in the left-back position. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0.
You see what they're trying to do, change the angle, because Arsenal all lined up, and like I said, the lack of organisation and the lack of leadership, you just move the angle of the ball, it will cause a bit of mayhem, and that's what they tried to do, but the execution was quite poor in the end.
Schelotto down the right here, ball breaks to Moy on the edge of the area, plays it in towards Trossard, who very nearly found a little gap to dive through, and Rob Holding closed the door just in time for Arsenal, got his body in the way, and Bernd Leno was able to come forward and pick it up. Arsenal get going, they also will play from the back, and Bernd Leno has 2 Brighton players close to him as he chips the ball away to the left, just beyond Kolasinac, who can only get a sort of glancing header on it. The ball goes out for a Brighton throw. So latest scores in the Championship in the 3 o'clock games: Blackburn 0, Bristol City 0. Same at Huddersfield, Wigan. Luton, Preston also goalless. Sheffield Wednesday, Nottingham Forest is the same, as is West Brom, Birmingham. Charlton are 1 up at Hull. Barnsley 1 up at QPR. Matt Ryan taking a bit of a risk here, clearing with his left foot. Reading leads Stoke by a 1-0. And first goal of the game's gone in at Huddersfield. Tom Gale.
To the visitors, ABB, it's Huddersfield 0, Wigan 1. It's Jamal Lowe with his 4th of the season. Keeper Moore whipped the ball in off his chest from the striker. Huddersfield 0, Wigan 1.
Wigan, one of those teams starting the day on 41 points. Huddersfield just above them on 42. Middlesbrough having dropped a place, having been thumped at home 3-0 by Swansea in one of the earlier kickoffs today. Is there going to be a yellow card here, Karen? Just I was looking down at the Championship table.
Yeah, Dan Burn, he was very, very late.
On Pepe?
Coming in late on the side, caught him. And the referee went straight and gave him a yellow card. I don't even think there was any arguments there.
No, OK. So Dan Burn's going to have to be careful for the rest of this game. So that should be an incentive for Nicolas Pepe to continue to run at him.
Well, that's it. Straight away you go, right, there's a weakness for Brighton. Let's give it to our wide men and let's get at that vulnerability.
Saka wide on the left for Arsenal at the moment. Guendouzi found him, cross deflected, diving header. What a save by Matt Ryan. The ball comes out and Moy is there to clear. Matt Ryan low down to his left. Lacazette thought he'd scored and Ryan denies him.
It's a fabulous save from Matty Ryan there. Ball's coming in, Saka's whipped it in actually very, very low, so it's hard for the big back line to not get their usual heads on it. And there's Lacazette, he just kind of heads it, glances it and bounces right in front of Matt Ryan. He just palms it away and out of any other Arsenal player's pass, so it's a fabulous save.
Yeah, it was an odd low bouncing cross. It was a brilliant bit of improvisation from Lacazette. He didn't try and do too much with it, just put his head on it, used the pace of the cross and had it going right for that bottom corner. And that was superb from Matt Ryan. Here's the Burn-Pepe battle again. Dan Burn wins this one. And so the ball goes behind for a Brighton goal kick. I felt a little freer, Karen, in the last sort of 10 minutes of talk because Aaron Connolly's gone off for his warm-up.
I feel less nervous now.
The Brighton subs are a little bit further away from us.
I think going back to that cross from Saka, I think that's the type of deliveries that Arsenal have got to do today. You're looking at the height of Webster, Burn and Dunk. You don't want to put big aerial balls in there, so those low crosses are going to cause them havoc because it's really difficult to move your feet, adjust yourself. Your first game back, mobility of Brighton's back line is probably not their biggest strength, but put it in the air, they're going to win all the balls. So that's the type of delivery that Arsenal need to put in.
31 minutes played in the first half. BBC Radio 5 Live. Glenn Murray going through his warm-up routine on the touchline in front of us as Brighton in their blue and white striped shirts, 2 points above the bottom 3 they started this game, bring the ball forward down the right-hand side. Scilotto with a deep cross beyond the far post. Mopai goes back-pedalling to keep possession for Brighton. It's played back to Dan Burn, so Mopai at 5'7", back to Dan Burn at 6'7". It's very much a case of little and large, and Kolasinac clears the ball for Arsenal, throwing for Brighton on the right, just about level with the Arsenal penalty area. Scilotto holds the ball high above his head, throws it into the edge of the box. Mopai nods it down, couldn't find a teammate. Lacazette is deep back there for Arsenal. Fires his pass low to the right-hand side. Aaron Connolly on his way back to his seat here in front of me, having just completed his first half warm-up routine, as has Solly March, who's also making his way to these big blue plastic seats in front of me. Arsenal keeping possession with Guendouzi. Guendouzi, his pass intercepted by Basuma, who read that well. Basuma then fouled by Guendouzi, and that is a free kick to Brighton. What's happening at the Hawthorns? Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 here. West Brom much the better team, but Collin and Dean in the Birmingham defence getting some good blocks in. A lot of shouting going on. Bilic got his first strop of this resumption after 25 minutes. He finished it all off with a friendly arm bump with the linesman. These are the sign of the times, aren't they, Alice? It would have been a cuddle normally. West Brom 0, Birmingham 0. It's noisier than I thought.
Yeah, no, I found that last night as well, Pat, actually, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There are enough bodies inside the ground, whichever club they're connected to, just to make that sort of general hubbub. Obviously not the usual atmosphere that you get at a football game, and Pat is absolutely right in terms of sort of the greetings and the celebrations. I saw that on the PGA Tour with the golf last week, so sort of air high fives, a pretend high five from 5 yards away as Kolasinac just sort of shoulders the ball out of play. Scalotto was trying to get in behind him, but Kolasinac just got his body in the way, so it's gone behind for an Arsenal goal kick. Goal at Ewood Park. Here's Delith Lloyd.
And it's with the visitors. Blackburn 0, Bristol City 1. Patterson with a header, a great cross from the left by Tommy Rowe. Patterson rose up high from the 6-yard line to knock it low. The keeper did get a touch on it and it went in off the post. It's Blackburn 0, Bristol City 1.
Aubameyang is tackled by Bissouma fairly. The ball's gone out for a throw. Bukayo Saka in the build-up there with Arsenal went down holding his face and has stayed down as well. I don't know whether we've been able to see anything on the monitor here. We might just get a replay now. Karen Carney and I are looking at that. We've got just over 10 minutes to play in the first half. 0-0.
Bissouma's there, you know, Saka's going to get on the other side of him, and Bissouma's just pulled out his right arm and caught Saka there. I'm sure VAR will have a look at it, but he definitely did catch him. Whether it was on accidental, can't really quite see with the light on the screen, but Saka he's not that type of player by the looks of it. He doesn't go down too easy, so it'll be interesting to see what VAR make of it.
Well, video assistant referee will have had a look, play back underway. Saka still just rubbing his face. And Brighton have it on the halfway line. Davy Proper floating one over the top of the Arsenal back four, and Bernd Leno had to come there to grab it. He's knocked out of the area by Neil Mopai. Now, Mopai had a definite right to challenge for that ball. He's caught Leno. Go on, Karen, he's hurt his knee, is he?
Yeah, the way he landed then, I straight away thought that's a bad knee issue, and the players straight away.
He's writhing as well, isn't he? You can see from his body language. It's on the other side of the pitch. Yeah, could you?
Yeah, you can still, straight away. I think because of the little nudge, his knee went, and he just went down, and that does not look good for Arsenal.
Okay, that is a worry. Emiliano Martinez is Arsenal's reserve goalkeeper, the Argentine who's been at the club for quite a while now. This, in fact, is his 10th season since joining as a very young man. He may well be thrown into the action. I can see the medical staff already have the stretcher ready just in case. So Bernd Leno went to grab the ball there. Mopai challenged him as Leno fell. He was sort of trying to stay in the penalty area. He's twisted, he's hurt his knee, and he is writhing in agony on the ground at the moment, and the stretcher is coming on. We are going to get a break in play here right now, so we can get round some of our championship games. I was just giving an instruction where to go there, and it's gone in one ear and completely out of the other. And it's Ian Dennis, of course it is, at Hull. What's happening?
Hull City have just had an opportunity, their best effort of the game so far. Dan Batty with a shot from the edge of the area, tipped over, but it's still Charlton Athletic who lead by a goal to nil, and as it stands, Charlton would be out of the relegation zone at the expense of Hull. Charlton 1-0 up.
OK, next stop, Hillsborough. John Akers.
It's 0-0 between Sheffield Wednesday and Nottingham Forest. It's not the best, but Sheffield Wednesday have had the better of it so far. Jordan Rhodes has just had a good chance, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Good save by Samba, brave with his legs, little bit of an angle, but 0-0.
Another goal at Ewood Park, Delith Lloyd.
Yeah, Bristol City's lead lasting only a couple of minutes because Blackburn have equalised. It's 1-1 here. A free kick from the left-hand side, some 30 yards out at an angle. Sam Gallagher stuck a toe out, and I think he's going to claim it. It's Blackburn 1, Bristol City 1.
Well, still Bernd Leno is lying prostrate on the ground here. This doesn't look good for Arsenal. We'll be back with this in a second. Time to head to Ascot, though, for more racing. Diamond Jubilee Stakes on the way here on BBC Radio 5 Live. I'll hand you over to John Hunt.
It's the final big one of the week here. 6 furlongs. They've split it into 3 groups, incredibly. A small field. Sands of Marley all by himself, far side up the middle of the track. Hello Yum Zain with the favourite Sceptical in behind him. And down the stand side, breathtaking look. One of only 2 runners to come right up the rail in company with Cardem. All eyes on Sceptical here, ridden by Frankie Dettori, but he's the fairy tale horse in the race potentially. He was discarded by the powerhouse Godolphin Yard, sold for just £3,000. He's one of the fastest improving horses in the world now. Let's see if he can land this big prize. Sands of Marley all by himself, far side. This side, Hello Yum Zain strikes the front. Sceptical coming after him though. So too is Cardem with a chance right up the near side running rail. In behind them is Speaking Colours. The actions develop down the stand side. Cardem and Sceptical, Jim Crowley and Frankie Dettori, the 2 stars of the week, haven't shaken off Hello Yum Zain and Kevin Stott, who might come and do them both. Hello Yum Zain, Sceptical, flying his dream of dreams. Tight finish at the end there. Hello Yumzain and Dream of Dreams have gone past in a photo finish, with Skeptical a very close third, Cardem in behind them in fourth place. A really tight photo finish here. Hello Yumzain, Kevin Stott for Kevin Ryan, the trainer, has been virtually joined by Dream of Dreams for Sir Michael Stout and Ryan Moore. His head was right down on the line. We're looking at another look at it now, and I think with some confidence we can say that Hello Yumzain has won the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. Big win for trainer Kevin Ryan, and an even bigger one for jockey Kevin Stott. We'll confirm that, Ali, when we can.
OK, thank you, John. Back with you shortly. No play here at the moment, and it's been slightly worrying scenes for the last couple of minutes or so. I can tell you that Bernd Leno is now on the stretcher, and he was actually sitting up there for a second, Karen, and talking to some of his teammates. But such a blow for Arsenal. They lost Granit Xhaka and Pablo Mari early on against Manchester City, and that one there, Bernd Leno, has been really good for them this season. That was a freak injury, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and you know, he was man of the match on against City the other day, so it's a massive blow. He's got his leg all strapped up, and you know, it's not a good sight. And you know, Mikel Arteta's scratching his head, going, it's going from worse to worse, isn't it? Really,
yeah.
I'm losing another one, and he's gone straight over to him, and it's not good. It's not a good sight for Arsenal or for Leno in this matter.
It's funny, really, because I mean, obviously, if there were fans inside the stadium, Leno would have been applauded to the side of the pitch. But that silence that we obviously have because we got no fans, you would get anyway when there's been an injury like that. So he's right in front of us at the moment, Bernd Leno. He's lying flat on his back on this orange stretcher, still with his goalkeeping gloves on. Mikel Arteta has been over to give him a little consoling pat, and the right leg is heavily strapped and tied with a sort of protective yellow casing around it. Trossard's cross in, Guendouzi blocks at the near post. We're back underway here in the Premier League. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0, and Emiliano Martinez is now making a first Premier League appearance of the season, although he has played in 11 games for Arsenal this season in other competitions. Back to John Hunt at Ascot, John, for confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation that Hello Yumzain got the nod to win the Diamond Jubilee Stakes at odds of 4-1. Dream of Dreams second at 8-1. Skeptical third at 2-1. That was the favourite under Frankie Dettori. Dettori, with a couple more races left to go of the meeting for 2020, now looking a very likely winner of the Top Jockey Championship here for the week. We'll confirm that a bit later on this afternoon.
Aaron Moy with a drive. What a save by Emiliano Martinez. That shot went through a whole host of bodies. I couldn't actually see where it had ended up, and you were either looking for the back of the net to bulge, or you just presumed that Martinez had got his body in the way. What a good, confident start by the goalkeeper for Arsenal.
That's exactly what he needed for himself and for his back line. So if he comes in and makes an error, and what's happened the last few days for Arsenal, you're thinking, that energy that gets sucked out of you, but he's come in. That'll give a bit of positivity to the rest of the team, because sometimes a big change in goalkeeper can really unnerve you, but he's come in and handled that very well.
Yeah, he's been the goalkeeper in the cup competitions for Arsenal this season. 6 starts in the Europa League, 3 in the FA Cup and 2 in the League Cup. Now involved in Premier League football, Bernd Leno has had to leave the field with a nasty-looking injury to his right leg, his right knee, we think. We'll keep you updated on that when we get more news. Closing in on half-time. We'll be going around all the grounds in the Championship at half-time. A couple more games coming your way in the Premier League today. West Ham Wolves kicks off at 5:30. Important one for West Ham and Wolves, actually, at either end of the table. And then 7:45 kick-off. Bournemouth Crystal Palace is live on BBC One. Updates on both of those games in Sports Report 6:06, and then Stephen Nolan later on this evening on BBC Radio 5 Live. Pepe wide on the right-hand side. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal inside the Brighton half. Guendouzi goes running from right to left. Little ball with the outside of his right foot. Clearance from Webster's blocked by Lacazette, who very nearly scored in this game, but Matt Ryan did so well to deny him with a low save to his left-hand side. And it's been keenly contested, Karen.
Yeah, it has, to be fair, but one thing I was just going to say about Arsenal that kind of does frustrate me is the pace that they've got up front, and they never ever go in behind, or they never ever threaten in behind. It's always to feet. It's always, we want to beat you with a trick, we want to beat you running at you, as opposed to, you know, other teams, sometimes they do go long, and they do with that pace. It frustrates me a little bit. I know it's not the way, a certain philosophy,
Holding has scooped a half-volley ball back to his goalkeeper Martinez, who very calmly took his time, let it bounce. Holding's lost it, he's miscued, he's won it back from Mopai. Then Bissouma in with the tackle for Brighton. Moy with a floated ball. Trossard, that was awkward for him to try and bring down as he was mid-air on his chest. Arsenal bring it away with Ceballos. He's on loan from Real Madrid for Arsenal this season. He's caught, and that is a yellow card for the challenge on Dani Ceballos by Aaron Moy.
It's like in that situation there, Ali, where he's picked up the ball, Ceballos, and he just wants a runner in behind. The back line of Brighton is very, very deep, and you just want someone, because realistically, is Aubameyang or Pepe going to beat the back four of Brighton? Yes, they would in a foot race. So it's frustrating, and they're just too slow on the transition. You see the top teams, Man City, Liverpool, as soon as they win it, they go like the Alamo, and sometimes I think that's Arsenal's Achilles heel when they win it back.
Karen Carney with us at the Amex Stadium. I think we've got a fair bit of added time on the way at the end of this first half after the injury to Bernd Leno. That's why Emiliano Martinez is now in goal. No, I said in goal. I meant in goal. All over the place at the end of the first half. In goal for Arsenal. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Holding, Kolasinac side foots it forward. Saka miscontrolled. That worked out okay though, because he's been able to take it past Bissouma. Aubameyang inside him, didn't get the pass away in time. Bissouma wins the ball with the challenge. Scalotto collects it for Brighton down by the byline on the right, and then Bissouma is able to come forward. Not a great pass from him. Intercepted by Kolasinac. Graham Potter was right there on the sideline. He felt that Kolasinac handballed that in winning it. That's not a great pass for Aubameyang. So Scalotto is able to get it back for Brighton. And then Webster's pass out from the back, can't find a teammate. And it's a throw-in to Arsenal on the left. One thing I will say, because Graham Potter's that little bit further away, those tracksuit trousers are ever so slightly too short for him, I think, Karen, although some might argue that that is the fashion, but they're just dangling above the ankle a bit. Aubameyang's cross in from the left, but he can't hear me, and hopefully Aaron Connolly won't tell him. 5 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Holding on the ball for Arsenal, who've lost their goalkeeper to injury, having lost Pablo Mari and Granit Xhaka, both to injuries in that game against Manchester City on Wednesday, and David Luiz sent off. So problems mounting for Mikel Arteta. Dan Burn deals with the challenge of Pepe this time, gets a challenge in. It's gone out for a throw into Arsenal on the right. Bellerin takes it back down that right-hand touchline. Arsenal work it across the middle of the pitch here. Rob Holding in the centre circle into the feet of Guendouzi, who just lays it back to his teammate, and then Mustafi at walking pace is 5 yards inside the Brighton half, and he plays it to Holding. Holding to Kolasinac. Kolasinac thuds the ball back to Martinez, the goalkeeper, in dark green goalkeeping uniform with gold numbers on it. Lacazette, nice first touch, spins away from his marker, lays the ball off to Bellerin. Bellerin, who's gone for the short shaved haircut, still has the moustache, the Arsenal right back, as Guendouzi, low ball out to Saka, bit of space for Saka on the left, chips the cross into the area, fell to Lacazette, and he just wasn't expecting it coming. It sort of hit his leg and spun away from him, where you thought he might just sweetly strike in a left foot volley first time.
Again, that strength coming from Saka in the crossing situation on this left-hand side, and I don't know who just had that slight little touch to take it away from Lacazette.
Cross comes in from Bellerin on the right this time, well dealt with at the near post by Webster. Still Arsenal comes. Ceballos, though, miscontrols that on the edge of the area. Mopai sweeps a pass to his right. Scalotto immediately on his bike down the right-hand side. Lots of flowing hair in this challenge. That's Guendouzi against Scalotto. Scalotto did really well there, but the pass intercepted, and now he's out of position, and Brighton have got to be a little bit careful in added time at the end of the first half. Arsenal have seen the space. They found Aubameyang on the left. Aubameyang at speed, cutting in from that left-hand side. Low ball to Lacazette, trying to turn. Back heel to Aubameyang. What a challenge. Sliding challenge from Webster to take it away from Aubameyang as the goal was gaping, and it's gone behind for the Arsenal corner.
Again, another timely challenge there. Even both benches applauded that. I think the Brighton bench more so for that tackle, because you saw it was a good little play. Aubameyang cutting in from the left-hand side, playing it into his partner Lacazette, who back heels it to him. And he just tried to get onto it, and there Webster just come in last minute and nicked it out for a corner. Very, very good defending.
Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Our 3 o'clock commentary on 5 Live. Ceballos with the corner. Matt Ryan didn't get anything on it. Went right to the far post. Mopai inside his own penalty area. Chips the ball out. Couldn't find Davy proper, so Arsenal have it again. Bellerin decides to turn back towards the halfway line and finds Holding. Had the better chances in the first half, Arsenal, but it's still 0-0. Here's Ceballos on the left. Ceballos just lets Aubameyang take it off him. He dummies across with his left foot, has it on his right, then gets the cross in, straight into the arms of Matt Ryan. Saka's hit the bar. Ryan's made that fabulous save from the Lacazette header. And Webster and Dunk with a challenger piece, actually, which probably denied goals, didn't they, Karen?
Yeah, absolutely. In that attacking third, when Arsenal have clicked, they've done very, very well. And in all of those situations, again, it's Saka who's been key in all those. I think, I question him, what's he doing playing on the left of a three? I know he's an attacking-minded player anyway, but for an 18-year-old to come in and probably be Arsenal's best attacking player, he's created those chances, hit the crossbar. He's looked very, very lively, and it's key now. Aubameyang's starting to get into the game as well. I think Arsenal's starting to find their rhythm, and Arsenal are at their best when Aubameyang's blinking up with Lacazette, so they need to keep doing that and penetrating down this left-hand side.
Last minute of added time at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Reports on the way from the 8 championship games that kicked off at 3 o'clock. Latest scores: Blackburn 1, Bristol City 1. Wigan 1 up at Huddersfield. Charlton 1 up at Hull. Big goals those in the relegation battle. Luton and Preston goalless. Barnsley, bottom of the table, Barnsley 1 up at QPR. Reading leads Stoke 1-0. Free kick from Gross is floated wide to the right. Scalotto volleys it brilliantly back across goal, and no one can get a touch on it. It goes behind for a goal kick, and Martin Atkinson blows the half-time whistle. So plenty of incident, a nasty injury to Bernd Leno, some good football from both teams. Arsenal, though, with the chances they've had, Karen, will feel they probably should be ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The Saka one that hit the crossbar. I think there's been the Lacazette as well, the header and the great save there from Ryan. They've had the better chances by far. I think Brighton have defended quite compact and made it hard for them, but have showed very little on the attack. They've been trying to get them maybe on a set play, but it's been all Arsenal in all fairness. They're still trying to find their rhythm a little bit more, but you need more from Aubameyang, you need more from Lacazette, but they have been the better side in this first half.
I don't think Brighton would be too unhappy with a point this afternoon, considering the predicament they are in. As it stands at half-time, that's what they'll be getting, because it's goalless at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0.
Karen, what do you think of the role that Neil Maupay played in the Bernd Leno injury? Because I was just watching the replay, and you can see Leno, as he's coming off on the stretcher, wagging his finger at Neil Maupay. So he clearly feels like it was an unnecessary challenge.
Well, yeah, I think the ball was coming on top, wasn't it? And he's kind of nudged him. And then because of that nudge when he was in the air, that forced him to land awkwardly. And then that's where it's either his, I don't know, I'm sure it was his knee. That's where his knee went, because Leno was coming out and caught it and was like, right, I'm going to land. And he obviously prepared for that. And that little nudge then has took him in a different direction. That's where he's buckled his knee. So I think that's the issue he's making with him. You didn't need to nudge me, and now I'm potentially out for a very, very long time. So it wasn't needed, but it's football, isn't it? And it goes on throughout the game. It is a contact sport, unfortunately.
Karen, Ali, thank you. Second half commentary to come from the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0 in the Championship. West Brom, Birmingham, Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 at half-time. West Brom much the better side. 8 corners to Birmingham's 2. It's been a tough, tenacious game, a clean game. Only 12 fouls committed so far. Only saw one example of dissent. But West Brom's build-up much more impressive than Birmingham. Hogan and Jutkiewicz getting no kind of supply at all. The best chance, Sawyer's half chance over the bar, 20 yards. Some players blowing very hard towards the end here. I think the lack of conditioning could well tell in this mini-season. We'll see how it pans out in the second half. It's West Brom 0, Birmingham 0.
If it stays like that, Leeds United, when they play Cardiff tomorrow, have the opportunity not only to go 3 points clear of West Brom, but to go 10 clear of Fulham in third. Other end of the table, Hull Charlton, Ian Dennis.
Hull City 0, Charlton Athletic 1. A vital game down at the bottom, with Charlton hoping to move out of the bottom 3 to be replaced by Hull. Charlton have been the better side. They lead through a bundled effort by their captain Jason Pearce after a flick on from a corner, after previously Long had tipped over a McGeady effort, and Oshilaja also flashed over a cross after a nice attack down the right hand side. Hull have struggled to create chances. Long extended once, pushing over a batty effort from the edge of the area. The home side have lacked quality in the final third and need to improve, otherwise it'll be 30 matches without a win. Hull City 0, Charlton 1.
Barnsley started the day bottom of the table, but they're not done yet. Katie Shanahan.
They certainly aren't, but it was a good half by Barnsley as they lead QPR by 1-0. Elliot Simeone's goal put them ahead after just 7 minutes. Neat piece of individual skill by the 20-year-old before slotting it past Liam Kelly. QPR have had more possession, but they haven't had a shot on target yet. Their closest chance came from Abire Eze's free kick, which narrowly skimmed over. As you say, Steve, Barnsley are off the foot of the table as things stand, which will give them a big boost heading into the second half. At the break, it's QPR 0, Barnsley 1.
Both Huddersfield and Wigan are in trouble. Half-time, Tom Gale.
Huddersfield 0, Wigan 1, Steve. Jamal Lowe's chest thrust from close range on 26 minutes. The difference in the Yorkshire sunshine. Questionable defending, though. Competitive, certainly no pre-season feel, but both sides more than a little rusty in front of goal. Junior Bakuna, a constant threat for the home side. His cross-come shot, their only effort on target. As it stands, visitors going 4 clear of the drop. Danny Cowley's men dropping to within just a point of the relegation zone. At half-time, Huddersfield 0, Wigan 1.
But Blackburn and Bristol City have got their eyes on the top 6 at the break. Delith Lloyd?
They have, yeah, just 2 points separate these two teams in the race for the playoffs. There's not much in it at half-time. It's Blackburn 1, Bristol City 1. Took a while to get going. Blackburn dominated the first half hour, but it was City who took the lead. Tommy Rowe whipping in a cross from the left. Jamie Patterson headed home from 6 yards. Blackburn, though, were level just 3 minutes later. Corey Evans attempting a cross from the left. He was surely aiming for Sam Gallagher, but he found the bottom of the corner instead. Great way for Evans to mark his first goal of the season. He's not played since January after fracturing his skull against Preston. We've had crowd noise pumped in throughout, and all 22 players took a knee at the whistle. It's Blackburn 1, Bristol City 1 at the break.
Nottingham Forest playoff challenge has them at Sheffield Wednesday. It's half-time there. John Akers.
Sheffield Wednesday playing like the team in the playoffs at the moment, even though they're 15th. It's 0-0, but Wednesday have been on top. Best chances, Connor Wickham, header saved. In fact, Bryce Sambers made a couple of sharp saves, one from Luongo as well. Bannon's had an effort over the bar. So he has played well, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, and he's needed to. Up the other end, Joe Lolly's had a free kick a yard over. Brennan Johnson's gone the closest with a header just wide, and Graben's had a header straight at Wildsmith. Not the best, but Wednesday 0, Forest 0.
As it stands, Forest are 5th and Preston would be 6th there at Luton. Jonathan Overend.
Luton 0, Preston 0 at half-time. The visitors, Preston, perhaps with the better half chances. Luton using the pace of Cornick with balls over the top, but even considering rustiness, a pretty awful half of football, if I'm honest. There isn't enough room here for both teams in the regular dressing room. So at half-time, we had the unusual sight of the Preston players walking into the main stand and into the directors' area for their refreshment. And they're actually showering and changing, Steve, away from the stadium using the Luton training ground. So it's 0-0 at half-time. We hope they come back. We hope they find the right way back.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Any better at Reading Stoke City, Sahel Sahi?
Yeah, half-time here, Steve. It's 1-0 to Reading. Quick start from Reading and a goal after 7 minutes. Meite and Zhao linking up, and Zhao side-footing Meite's cross from 6 yards away. Stoke, they took their time to settle, and Tom Ince with a weak effort from inside the box after 16 minutes. He should have made it 1 each. Reading's goal scorer Zhao was forced off with an injury, which is a blow for the home side. It's good watch this. Half-time, Reading 1, Stoke 0.
Our racing commentator John Hunt has rejoined us after a fantastic day at Royal Ascot, John.
Absolutely, 2 more races to go, but it's incredible, Steve, isn't it? Just a matter of 6 months shy of his 50th birthday, Frankie Dettori has found a way to entertain and delight as he usually does. He started the week, on Tuesday, saying that he was particularly flat. No crowds. Those situations are the such that he would usually thrive. But he, after a couple of espressos, got going on Tuesday with a win aboard Frankly Darling. He's not looked back since. 3 winners today, including Alpine Star in the Coronation Stakes. He says after that, I've conquered Royal Ascot. Dettori, with that victory, has now won all of the big races. His treble, instigated by Capinel in the Queen Mary for American trainer Wesley Ward. And Palace Pier won the St James's Palace Stakes with Pinatubo finishing there only second. Dettori, a 4-timer, thwarted narrowly in the Diamond Jubilee Stakes. Hello Yumzain, the winner there for Kevin Ryan, his 6th Royal Ascot winner, and jockey Kevin Stott with his first. We've also had the biggest price winner in Royal Ascot history. Nando Parado won the Coventry Stakes at odds of 150 to 1 for trainer Clive Cox and Adam Kirby. So Dettori on the threshold of a 7th top jockey title at Royal Ascot. Only Jim Crowley can stop him now. Crowley with a ride in the 440 race. We'll update you on his progress a little bit later on this afternoon.
Thank you very much, John. Let's just wrap up the rest of the Championship scores. These are the 3 full times from earlier today. Fulham 0, Brentford 2, Millwall 2, Derby 3, and Middlesbrough just 1 place above the relegation zone as it stands after they lost 3-0 at home to Swansea City. Scores already in the Premier League today. We had updates of Watford against Leicester City, which finished 1-1 at Vicarage Road. We've got West Ham Wolves updates during 6:06 and Sports Report. That one kicks off at 5:30. 7:45 for Bournemouth against Crystal Palace. Remember, that one is live, historically live, on BBC One. We're going to get reaction to that draw between Watford and Leicester. We'll hear from the Watford manager, Nigel Pearson, after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Chancellor Rishi Sunak says the outcome of a review of the 2-metre social distancing rule in England will be announced in the coming week. It could be relaxed to 1 metre to help pubs, restaurants and hotels to reopen. The hospitality industry's warned the government that many businesses won't survive if the guidance isn't changed. The Department of Health says 128 deaths linked to COVID-19 were recorded in the UK yesterday. They include 1 in Northern Ireland and 2 in Scotland. The South West was the only English region to report no deaths in these latest figures. Demonstrators have gathered this afternoon for a third weekend of Black Lives Matters protests in London. There's a heavy police presence in Hyde Park, as well as for a march to Parliament Square. Anti-racism protesters also gathered in Glasgow city centre, despite being warned to stay away by police. An counter-fraud organisation says the number of times criminals have stolen people's identities in the UK has leapt by nearly a fifth in the space of just 1 year. It's being put down to more sophisticated scams and a lower risk of criminals being caught.
5 Live Breakfast.
Stradivarius, famous violin maker, I think I'm right in saying, Rachel.
Yes, that would be right.
Yeah. He was a con man, Stradivarius, I've read about it.
Was he?
Yeah, he was on the fiddle. Here's the weather.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Or Rachel?
No, you.
No, you, definitely you.
People feeling a wee bit wabbit, Rachel.
Yeah.
It's a Scottish word.
I presumed it probably was, unless it just made it up.
What's it like for your business at the moment? Are you preparing to open, to reopen? Have you got the PPE and the social distancing sorted out? All these talent shows are going to come back and all the judges, their faces will be unusually saggy. We won't recognise them, will we?
5 Live Breakfast, back Monday morning from 6. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome back to 5 Live Sport. It's Brighton 0, Arsenal 0 in our first 3 o'clock commentary on a Saturday afternoon since March. Already today, it finished Watford 1, Leicester 1. Let's hear from the Watford manager, Nigel Pearson.
Today, as an experience, was never going to be straightforward because, especially when you play at home, you have to deal with your own fans not being there. And it is a strange experience, I have to say. So there are a lot of unknown factors that I think for the players in particular they have to go out and deal with. I know we have players who thrive on the emotional attachment with the fans on match day, and I think that's something that they have to learn to deal with in the short term until we can get the fans back in through the turnstiles.
What particular things might they have learned today, the players?
That they're very capable. I mean, look, what pleased me today is that we were able to bounce back after conceding a late goal. I mean, it was a great strike, of course, but to concede so late on is a real. When the game's been so tough and so competitive, it's quite a difficult thing to deal with. But we deserved to get something out of the game. We had our chances, and it's a valuable point for us.
Nigel Pearson there. We'll be back to the Amex for second half commentary shortly. During Sports Report, we'll bring you updates of West Ham against Wolves. It's a 5:30 kickoff. Henry Moran's there.
Yeah, well, 8 years ago, of course, Steve, this venue was on the brink of hosting some of the most memorable weeks in British sporting history with the Summer Olympics and Paralympics of 2012. Today it joins the other Premier League settings and beginning the hosting of a very different yet equally remarkable chapter. West Ham have hardly found much home comfort here in the season prior to the lockdown, losing 7 out of 14 home fixtures. There were signs of improvement under David Moyes, though the final game here back in February saw an excellent win over Southampton. Wolves have again beaten expectations, excelling across multiple competitions despite their relatively small squad. You'd expect this enforced break to have benefited them as much as anyone. We'll have team news around about 4:30.
Cheers, Henry. Tale of two goalkeepers thus far at the Amex. One great save from Brighton's Matt Ryan. One awful injury for Bernd Leno, who's had to go off injured. So half-time, 0-0. Second half commentary now with Karen Carney and Ali Bruce-Ball.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, believe that's an ankle problem. Initially, we thought that might be a knee injury for Bernd Leno, that we've not re-seen replays here. I think it is one of those that the close-up could be a little bit distressing, which is why we haven't seen it again. And as you made the point, Steve, at half-time, Bernd Leno, I think, slightly unhappy in the role that Neil Maupay played in the injury. As the ball bounced inside the penalty area, he jumped to catch it, got a little nudge from him. I mean, in real time, Karen, I felt that was a ball that Maupay was entitled to jump for. Obviously, you're annoyed if you get injured. We've not re-seen the challenge, so I don't know. But in real time, I didn't feel he'd been particularly out of order. I know sometimes, you know, when players come running to the sidelines and someone will give someone a nudge and they can end up in the stand. It didn't feel like one of those to me, but Leno obviously wasn't happy, was he?
Yeah, he obviously felt, you know, he's that injured, and he sat up and told him about himself. That would suggest how aggrieved he felt about it. But like you said, we haven't seen the replay back. But initially, you're right, I just thought he was running. It was one of them where it's harder to stop and you might hurt yourself, so you just bump someone. But I'm sure later on Match of the Day we'll see potentially what happened. But you're right, the injury was too distressing to actually show the actual impact on the ankle. But it'd be interesting now. But it seems like Brighton are looking to make a change, which is what they need. I think Solly March is going to come on, and we've seen no attacking really finesse from Brighton. They haven't really caused Arsenal any problems, so it could change shape. We'll have to wait and see.
I was just going to say, Karen, just looking, because obviously Dan Burn plays at left back, so as you were saying, you could go to a 3 there, couldn't you? And then March play a sort of left wing back role.
I think they'll go to a back 3 at Webster, Dunk and Dan Burn, and I think Solly March and Scalato will give the wing back role of getting some width into the Brighton team, because they were very, very narrow and compact in the first half, but offered very little threat. So we'll wait and see.
Right, remember to start the stopwatch, which is the first time this season in the fourth half of football I've done, which is good news. We're learning. Thank you. Karen Carney, former England international, with us here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Bissouma with an absolute rocket shot from 35 yards out in the first play of the second half. He caught that brilliantly, and had it been on target, I mean, it would have taken goalkeeper through the back of the net. That was so powerfully hit, but it's gone over the crossbar and up into the stands beyond Emiliano Martinez, who's come on and made a really good save, Karen, within about 2 minutes of coming on, which was really important for us. It was a well-struck shot by Aaron Moy through a really crowded penalty area, and Martinez got down and saved well. Arsenal hit the crossbar in the first half through Bukayo Saka. Matt Ryan made a fabulous save low to his left. That was a Saka cross and a Lacazette diving header. And there were also really important goal-saving challenges from Adam Webster and Lewis Dunk. So 0-0 started the second half. Solly March on for Brighton. And Brighton have won a throw wide on the right-hand side in an attacking position. When we get a chance, I'll remind you of the two starting lineups. Brighton having made the change, of course, at half-time, and we'll keep you updated with all the championship scores in the 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. We have reporters at every single game. Kolasinac in at left-back for Arsenal this afternoon in place of Kieran Tierney, who's on the bench. Ball forward to Lacazette, doesn't find him. So Matt Ryan in bright green for Brighton, defending the goal away to our right in front of the south stand where the Arsenal fans would have been. Brighton in the blue and white vertical stripes, blue shorts, white socks, and Scalotto on the move at speed down the right. Cross comes into the penalty area. Holding already throws himself at it and blocks it. Go on, Karen.
It's better already, you know, giving them a bit more width. That else they were crying out for. They were way too narrow in the first half, and it was easy for Arsenal. Now you've got some width in Solly March and Scalotto in that right side. It's really pulling Arsenal, stretching them. That's what you want them to do.
Throw in on the right for Brighton. In towards Maupay. He bumps away from Guendouzi. The ball runs to Pepe. Pepe playing it forward here. Lacazette with a clever little back heel to Ceballos, onto Aubameyang. Aubameyang gets the better of Webster, and he's into the Brighton penalty area. Drives it with his left foot. Ryan with the save, and he manages to grab the loose ball before Lacazette can even think about trying to turn home a rebound.
I mean, that's the vulnerabilities, though. On the flip side, it means you're 3v3 in attack, and Aubameyang there just flicked it round Webster and left him, didn't he, and used his pace. And Matty Ryan again with an important save, and he held on to the kind of... it kind of fell out of his hands a little bit and he's held on to it, and it's another important save.
Loose touch from Leandro Trossard means he's had to foul Matteo Guendouzi, playing in central midfield for Arsenal this afternoon. So Brighton have Matt Ryan in goal. It's Aaron Moy, by the way, who's come off at half-time, so Solly March has replaced him. So now it's Webster, Duncan, Byrne as the three centre-backs, Scalotto on the right, and Solly March has come on the left-hand side, Proper and Basuma, and then Pascal Gross, Leandro Trossard and Neil Mopai, with all the Brighton substitutes sitting right in front of us here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Saka, who's been very good for Arsenal today again, plays it wide to the right. Pepe with 3 step-overs. Solly March did well there, just kept his eye on the ball, got a foot in, crossing from Ceballos, closed down by Pascal Gross, so that was blocked. Bellerin just tries to slide one down the line. Trossard intercepts, throw in for Arsenal. Karen Carney.
I think Solly March coming on as well on this left-hand side. Don't forget Dan Burns on a yellow. So, you know, you go in at half-time and you're Arteta saying, get at him, Pepe, get him sent off. So Solly March coming on gives him a little bit more of a protection. He's quicker as well, and he can double up, and it means Dan Burn doesn't have to make unnecessary challenges to put him in a difficult situation.
Only games in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Championship without goals at the moment. Luton and Preston is 0-0. Same at Hillsborough. John Akers said that one hasn't been great between Sheffield Wednesday and Nottingham Forest, and Pat Murphy's watching the derby at the Hawthorns. West Brom 0, Birmingham 0. This is 0-0 as well. It was Watford 1, Leicester 1 earlier on today in the Premier League. Aubameyang down the line to Kolasinac, who was in good position there to try and get a cross in from the left, but he lost his balance and went stumbling forward and almost fell onto the ball. So it's gone behind for a goal kick. Arsenal now have Emiliano Martinez in goal after the injury to Bernd Leno. Bellerin, Mustafi, Holding and Kolasinac. Kolasinac in for Tierney today. Holding in for the injured Pablo Mari. Ceballos and Guendouzi alongside each other in central midfield as Brighton take a little risk here, playing out from the back, dribbling from Lewis Dunk, across the face of his own box, and eventually Webster has to rather hurriedly clear to the right. Scalotto in to win a header, and now Mopai with his right foot playing a ball to the left, intercepted by Bellerin. Lacazette definitely tripped by Dan Burn. Free kick for Arsenal, 15 yards inside the Brighton half. So Ceballos and Guendouzi in central midfield, which means Saka has been, Guendouzi in the holding role, Saka and Ceballos alongside each other, and then Pepe and Aubameyang wide in support of Lacazette through the middle. Mesut Ozil is amongst the Arsenal subs this afternoon. Mustafi with a right-footed ball, sweeps it across the field. Still bright sunshine on the south coast. Aubameyang, as Lacazette goes down, he's hurt. Finds Saka, drives it in hard at the near post, blocked. And the ball's gone behind for a corner, but the offside flag was up against Saka after Aubameyang played him in. And I just wondered whether Martin Atkinson might even call that back for the free kick for the challenge on Lacazette, but he obviously felt that he'd played the advantage and Arsenal had the advantage from the challenge. So it remains Brighton 0, Arsenal 0.
I mean, he was lucky there because it was a foul, wasn't it? He come through the back of Lacazette and rolled around, and the referees gave offside. So I'd be a bit annoyed. I've seen Arteta there throwing his arms up in the air, but the referee knows best, eh?
Team news coming your way from the London Stadium in about 15 minutes' time. West Ham Wolves kicks off at 5:30. Bournemouth Palace at 7:45 tonight. That game live on BBC One. Lob ball over the top for Trossard. Brings it down well with a nice first touch. Holding across quickly to block for Arsenal. All he can do then is just knock it out of play for a throw to Brighton on the left wing in an attacking position.
See, that's what I don't get. Sometimes turn a team, do you know what I mean? He's just put a ball over the top. He's turned the Arsenal back line, he's put them under pressure. Sometimes we just play, and I know it's this coaching philosophy, but sometimes the space is in behind. Just put a long pass in behind.
And Trossard and Mopai are quick enough to get onto it, aren't they? Yeah. Lacazette. Now, this might work for Arsenal on the counter. Lacazette was caught in the eye as he got the pass away. Saka through the middle. Aubameyang, flag stays. No, flag goes up. Aubameyang is not allowed to continue the run. He finishes it off, and the flag goes up. Aubameyang has done the right thing because he's finished it, and Martin Atkinson hasn't blown the whistle. So if the assistant referee is wrong with the flag, then Arsenal will have themselves a goal. Matt Ryan didn't try particularly hard to stop it. We await a decision here at the Amex Stadium, and because it is for a potential goal, I'm just going to hold on to this. There has been another goal in the Championship, and we will take you to that shortly. So Martin Atkinson is waiting. Lewis Dunk is standing over the ball. The goal has come at Kenilworth Road. We'll go to Jonathan Overend in just a second. The flag went up, but Martin Atkinson didn't blow his whistle. That's how they work it in the Premier League. The assistant referee made the right call. It was offside. It remains 0-0. Who scored at Kenilworth Road? Jonathan Overend.
Preston have it, and it's Luton 0, Preston 1. Scott Sinclair cutting in from the inside left channel, opened up his body and curled it right-footed, and it's Luton 0, Preston 1.
It was Huddersfield 0, Wigan 1. Lacazette is in late there on Matt Ryan. Lacazette will get booked for the challenge, but there's been another goal in that game between Huddersfield and Wigan. Tom Gale.
The visitors in red have doubled their advantage, Ali. Huddersfield 0, Wigan 2. Anthony Pilkinson, edge of the box, did a 360 back heel drag, step back, and deflected shot went in. It's Huddersfield 0, Wigan 2.
What is it with centre forwards and goalkeepers today, Karen? Lacazette. I mean, Lacazette again was in, and he thought the ball was there to win, and he just got there slightly late, and we hope Matt Ryan's going to be okay.
Do you know what I think that was? That was Lacazette's frustration at the earlier fouls that weren't given on him, and he's just gone, you know what, forget this, and he just slid in himself, and I'm sure he's gone to the referee. You haven't backed me, so I'm going to go and do stupid tackles like this. And you've seen Arteta again, he just turned away and just shook his head. But that's his frustration, because he should have got the earlier fouls.
Not scored in 14 away games in the Premier League, Alexander Lacazette, since a goal against Huddersfield last season. Huddersfield 0, Wigan 2. We were just hearing from Tom Gale there in the Championship. Charlton are still one up at Hull. Challenge is flying in now. This time Mustafi is caught by Bissouma. Free kick only this time, not a yellow card, but the intensity is there. There was definitely intensity to the game last night as well, Karen, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because I know a lot of people feel that with the fans not there egging everyone on, that the games can be a little bit flat, but this is building in intensity. The challenges are going in. It's important for both teams, certainly for Brighton, just 2 points above that bottom three at the moment. Bournemouth Palace kicks off at 7:45 later on. Big game for Bournemouth, sitting inside that bottom three. Propper just stabs a little ball forward, miscued by Holding. Almost gave Pascal Gross a nibble at that, and Holding has had to knock that behind for a corner to Brighton.
Again, it's better from Brighton. They're putting it into space, turning Arsenal a little bit more, making them run back towards their own goal, because Holding doesn't want to run back there. The Mustafi, they're not blessed with pace, the two centre-backs, so just keep turning them and make them run towards their own goal.
10 minutes gone in the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live, Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Brighton's big men all in a line in the penalty area. Now they make the runs. Davy Propper to the near post, tries to get on the end of it. Flick header away from Aubameyang. Solly March nods it to his right. Bissouma scoops it on quickly to Trossard, who gets it out to the right again. Now that cross comes in from Gross. Lewis Dunk was forward. Good headed challenge from Mustafi. Real good centre-backs challenge. Arsenal have cleared. Pascal Gross with another cross into the penalty area. Drops at the far post. Mopai drives it, and Martinez just stands up tall at the near post, blocks it, and it's behind for a corner. Good chance for Brighton.
Very good chance for Brighton. They've really kept that ball going in around the 18-yard box. The cross came in. I think Dunk left it because he knew behind was Morte, and he took that touch, put it onto his left foot, and then the keeper's made a good save. You expect him to make that save from that tight angle, and they kicked it out for a corner, but it's a really good spell from Brighton, this.
Emiliano Martinez has come on and done well for Arsenal in replacing Bernd Leno. Now Solly March, an away swinging corner, headed back across goal towards the near post. Bissouma with a swing and a miss from the edge of the box, dives in to win a header. Solly March is there, sliding challenge on him by Bellerin, and the ball just rolls nicely into the arms of Martinez. Martinez with a long clearance downfield with his right foot. Pepe chases. Ryan has got time to come across and shepherd the ball out for a throw-in. Taking you back to Ascot for a second here. John Hunt, what news?
You remember half an hour ago, young jockey Kevin Stott, with his first Royal Ascot winner, won the big sprint today aboard Hello Yum Zane. Well, he's only just gone and doubled up, hasn't he, in the Wokingham handicap this time aboard the speedster Hey Jonesy, who has won at 18-1, just winning by a nose from Summergand at 15-2. Third place was Spanish City at 16-1. Gulliver was fourth at 12-1. Big day for jockey Kevin Stott. 2 Royal Ascot winners in half an hour.
Thank you, John. Well done to him. 12 minutes gone, second half. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Premier League restarted with a 0-0 at Villa Park on Wednesday night. Although obviously Sheffield United scored a goal that should have stood but didn't. Saw them testing the goal decision system, as they always do at every stadium ahead of this game. You just wonder whether they now need to do that with sort of loads of people bunched around the ball and the post in the way, because that's seemed to be what caused the problem for Hawkeye. That's one worth talking about on 6:06 tonight, actually. Emma Saunders and Chris Sutton taking the calls from 6 o'clock tonight. Ceballos with his right foot has Bellerin on the outside, wide on the right, up to the edge of the Brighton penalty area. Arsenal player is down as the move continues. Lacazette is complaining again that he was caught off the ball. Aubameyang, his strike partner, tries to get past Bissouma. Bissouma sticks a leg in, Aubameyang goes over it. Free kick for Arsenal, 25 yards out from the inside left channel. Lacazette, you're absolutely right, Karen's getting wound up, isn't he?
He's got to be careful, he's losing his head, and you know, if I was Brighton, I'd keep winding him up, because it's working. But the referee, though, has got to protect players like that. He needs to be careful, because I think he's right, he's had a few knocks and a little elbows here and there, so he's got every right to be annoyed. Yeah, it's the centre-forward's life, I'm afraid. Free kick for Arsenal. Just looking at the Championship table as it stands at the moment, Charlton are 1 up at Hull. It takes Charlton to 19th. Huddersfield dropped to 20th, then 2-0 down at home to Wigan. Middlesbrough got hammered by Swansea 3-0, so they are just above the bottom 3 on goal difference. Hull, Barnsley and Luton inside that bottom 3. Brentford having closed to within a point of Fulham with their 2-0 win at Fulham in the lunchtime kickoff earlier today. So Fulham on 64 in third, Brentford on 63. Free kick for Arsenal. Ceballos rolls it to Aubameyang, drives it hard right into the Brighton wall. Brighton clear and think about a breakdown field. Coming up to the hour mark in this game. Brighton getting ready to make a change shortly. Goal at Ewood Park, Delith Lloyd.
Yeah, and Blackburn have come from behind to lead Bristol City by 2-1. Toshin Adebayo, the defender who's on loan from Manchester City, cool as you like on the edge of the area, picked out the top far corner with his right foot, just curled it past the stretching keeper. It's Blackburn 2, Bristol City 1.
Solly March with a chance to put a good ball into the penalty area for Brighton. Just took his time and it was blocked. Low cross at the near post. Arsenal looking for an offside flag here. They're not going to see it. And this time March goes long and deep and he's knocked it over the head of everyone. And Scalotto can't keep it in play. Martin Montoya I saw getting stripped off and ready to go. Aaron Connolly also, who's been sitting right in front of me, so he might enjoy the break. Might enjoy getting out on the field, not having to listen to us rabbiting on. And Glenn Murray's eating a banana, just getting some energy, some food in, because I'm sure he will be called upon later on. 5 substitutes allowed, but if you don't make any at half-time, then there are only 3 points within the game at which you can make them. Graham Potter is talking to Aaron Connolly at the moment. A bit like Mopai in a way. He's a quick, kind of short, stocky, mobile striker. He's a real pest, actually.
It's a shame, because if they'd started the way they had done the second half with the shade, I don't think Trossard or Maupay would be so tired. You know, in the first half they're chasing shadows, they're really deep, they were doing all the defensive work, when really you want them going the other way, you want them pushing Arsenal back, pushing them in the other direction. So I don't know who's going to come off. I would think it might be Maupay or Trossard. I'd be a little bit annoyed though, because they've worked their socks off and the change of shape has kind of frustrated them.
Aaron Connolly, 2 Premier League goals this season. Both came against the other team from North London when Brighton gave Spurs a bit of a going over here under Mauricio Pochettino early in the season. So he's taking a long drink of water, getting ready to come on. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. Ball is played wide to Bukayo Saka, who thumped the Brighton crossbar early in this game. Montoya getting ready to come on as well with number 22 on his back. High lofted ball from Holding across field. Pepe jumps to win a header. Offside flag goes up. Brighton free kick. Arsenal have lost a bit of rhythm in the second half. Mikel Arteta looking a little frustrated. I can understand why.
Yeah, I think he's going to make a sub as well. I think Arsenal do need to make a sub. They need to change it up. I think Pepe's been...
Well, here he is, Pepe, on the right with a chance to run at Bissouma. Bissouma comes sliding in. A little bit risky that. The ball's gone behind for a corner. Challenge was outside the area, jumped in there, Bissouma, got a foot on it, and it's gone behind for the Arsenal corner. Karen.
But that's better from Pepe, but literally 10 seconds before he's infuriating, because he's in an offside position, he doesn't read the play in the build-up, and Mikel Arteta is he's a thinker, isn't he? Everything about Arsenal now is just everyone's got a structure, a position, a place. If you don't stick to that, it's really, really annoying. I think Pepe's that type of player. He can really agitate you, not sticking to the game plan, because he's very raw, isn't he?
It's funny when no one is shouting at all from either bench or anyone involved, because then it really does. All you can hear is your own voice inside a giant football stadium. It's what we're getting used to at the moment on 5 Live. Pepe with the corner, left-footed, underneath the crossbar, headed away by Big Dan Burn. Bellerin jumps for a 50-50 with Mopai. The ball bounces just inside the Brighton half. Bellerin is able to get to the loose ball. Awkward pass from him back to Ceballos. Inside his own half on the left. Got to be careful with the back pass. Needs pace on it. He's given it that. Now Martinez, Arsenal's replacement goalkeeper, looks up and finds Guendouzi in a lot of space on the right-hand side. Brings the ball across the halfway line. Lays it back in field to Bellerin. Brighton substitutes still getting ready to come on. Just waiting to see who might come on for Arsenal. Whether we're going to see Mesut Ozil at all this afternoon. Ceballos looks up, swings a cross-field pass, which Solly March reads, jumps, wins the header. The ball bounces off Pepe's shoulder. Nicolas Pepe running back towards his own goal, plays it back to Mustafi. Inside his own half, across the halfway line to Dani Ceballos. Now Rob Holding to Ceballos, who's on the turn here. Arsenal have given it away. Bissouma onto Mopai, quickly has support on the right-hand side, and Schelotto at full pelt makes a run on the outside. The cross comes in towards Trossard. That is not his strength. The ball floats over his head, and Mustafi is able to run across and clear it with his right foot. Burn wins the header, nods it infield inside the Arsenal half on the left. March plays it to Bissouma. Bissouma brings it infield. Mopai with his back to goal is able to turn, works it onto his left foot, drives it hard, and Bellerin gets his body in the way, and it goes behind for a Brighton corner.
It's good play there. Bissouma's been key, hasn't he? He reads the first ball, second ball so well. He breaks up play, and he just plays it into Mopai. He kind of jinxes tight little turn. It's more like him, getting it in those tight, nippy areas, gets it onto his left foot and deflected out for a corner. But that's where you need Mopai in those situations. Higher up, allowed to do his trickery. Not so deep that we've seen for the first 60-odd minutes.
20 minutes gone, second half. Another water break on the way. That'll give us a chance to get around all the championship games going on this afternoon. 8 of them have kicked off at 3 o'clock, and we've got reporters at all the grounds. Gross with the corner into the far post. Martinez comes through a whole host of bodies. Again, good, confident goalkeeping. As I say, he's not particularly young man now. He joined Arsenal as a teenager, but he's been at the club 10 seasons. Has been a backup goalkeeper all the way. Aubameyang brings it forward for Arsenal, running at the Brighton defence. 1-2 with Lacazette. Has he found Aubameyang again? Left-footed shot blocked by Ryan with his shins at the near post. And Aubameyang sensed a goal, and he couldn't find the back of the net. Corner for Arsenal.
It's when Arsenal are at their best, isn't it? When Aubameyang and Lacazette are linking up, straight into Lacazette. Aubameyang giving the pass, give it him straight back. Left-footed, strike low into that bottom corner, but Matt Ryan got his angles right and saved it. And he's been on top form today, hasn't he, Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
It's been very, very good.
Matt Ryan stands on his goal line. Schelotto's right in front of him, and Lacazette's lurking there as well. Corner for Arsenal. Dani Ceballos takes it, goes deep to the back post. Dan Burn, as always, first with the header for Brighton. Here's Bellerin. Cushions a little side-footed ball to Pepe. Pepe's curling cross in, cleared by Bissouma. Only half cleared though. Kolasinac stabs it forward to no one in particular. Solly March gets it in the left-back position. Dummies a clearance. Rob Holding is the man in front of him. Plays it back to Matt Ryan. Ryan rather gets underneath his clearance. Doesn't get much distance on that. Pepe wins the header. Holding tries to control it. March has another chance to clear. Lofts the ball high into his own half. Scrappy from Brighton. Pascal Gross wins a good tackle against Guendouzi. Plays it forward to Trossard. What can Brighton do with this? Schelotto again steaming up on the outside. Trossard takes it on the inside. No one there for him. Twisting and turning. And then rolls it across to Solly March, just outside the Arsenal penalty area. March is crossed towards the far post. Schelotto nods it down into the arms of Emiliano Martinez. And as one, the Brighton subs in front of us lean back and put their heads in their hands, because they felt that could have been a good opportunity.
It was a big opportunity, and that's why that change of shapes worked. You got Solly March delivering it into his right wing back, and there's another, I thought someone else got injured there, Schelotto, and he had the opportunity, he had the time and everything.
Pepe with a left foot curler, scores for Arsenal. He's curled it beyond Matt Ryan. That goal has come out of nowhere in the second half. Pepe picked it up on the right-hand side, switched it to his left foot, and has floated a delicious finish beyond Matt Ryan into the back of the net. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Not good news for Brighton in the relegation battle.
I tell you what, he's been frustrating the whole game, but that's what you get with that little bit of magic and rawness. The ball's played out to him, he's left 1v1, he just cuts in onto his left foot, his stronger foot, and he's just bent it, and Matt Ryan can do nothing about it. Solly March doesn't get anywhere near him, and he's just curled it into that top corner, and it's a fabulous finish. You know, and he's been frustrating the whole game, and he props up with that little bit of magic, and that's why you pay the big money, but if they can eradicate it and make him even more consistent, and he keeps doing that, wow, what a player you've got in your hands.
Goal at Hillsborough, John Akers.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Joe Lolly for Forest, a long ball from the back. The first touch is unbelievable. Takes it on the half volley with his left foot, perfectly sets it up for the strike with his second touch, rolls it into the corner. Beautiful from Joe Lolly. Best piece of quality in the game, and Forest in 5th, hoping to cement their place in the playoffs. Lead 1-0.
Fourth goal of the afternoon at Ewood Park. Last we heard Blackburn 2, Bristol City 1. Who's got this one, Delith Lloyd?
They've extended their lead. It's Blackburn, Alistair. They lead Bristol City by 3 goals to 1. A terrific solo goal from Adam Armstrong. He's only been on the pitch around 5 minutes or so. He picked up the ball midway through the City half, went on a mazy run, entered the edge of the area and just curled it past the keeper. A nice goal from Adam Armstrong. It's his 13th of the campaign. Blackburn 3, Bristol City 1.
No fans anywhere, of course, this afternoon. No goals yet at the Hawthorns either, Pat Murphy. Have we come close, either team here?
Yes, Alistair, we're having a break at the moment now. Pereira heavily involved, low cross across the face of the Birmingham goal. No takers, just now left foot shot just wide on the run. Birmingham look as if they're quite happy to come away from this with a point. 2 substitutes, and this is going to be important, I think, for Bilic in the run-in. He's got a talented, experienced bench. Edwards has come on for Phillips, and Dean Garner, an impact player now, has come on for Robinson. But it's still West Brom 0, Birmingham 0.
Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. I'm going to take you to Hull Charlton in just a second. Nicolas Pepe has scored for Arsenal here. The game has got back underway and Brighton are immediately on the attack. Davy Propper is 30 yards out in a central position. 20 minutes remaining in the game, just over. And Brighton still haven't been able to make the double change. They're trailing by a goal to 0. Ian Dennis waiting for us at Hull. Last we heard, Charlton were 1-0 up. Basuma's on the floor. So is Danny Ceballos. Little back heel from Pascal Gross. But no teammate's going to be able to get to that. Goal kick for Arsenal. Let's get the latest from Ian Dennis.
Charlton do still lead Hull City by a goal to 0, but could so easily be 2. Macaulay Bonne headed wide, 8 yards out. Great chance after a cross from the left-hand side. And at the minute, they're dealing well with the Hull pressure. So it's Hull City 0, Charlton 1 down at the bottom.
Pascal Gross is coming off. Martin Montoya is coming on. He goes over to the right back position. So is that going to push Scilotto on as well? Why am I not seeing Scilotto out there? Aaron Connolly is also on for Brighton, as we said. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Or had Scilotto already come off? Montoya for Scilotto, was it? Yeah. Okay, got it.
He went off on the other side. And,
gotcha. Yes.
He's just slotted in now. I think they've gone back to a back 4, so they've gone 4-4-2 now, Brighton. And Aaron Connolly's gone up top with more pay. And Solly March has gone right midfield, left midfield, Trossard.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Glad someone was paying attention. I've forgotten about that. That's another new rule in the Premier League this season. Leave the pitch at the nearest point possible. So at the moment, Scilotto is still making his way all the way around the pitch here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. The goal from Pepe, well worth a watch on Match of the Day tonight. BBC 1 at 10:35. Just had that sort of perfect arc on it. So Ryan is at full stretch. He's not far off his line, but he just cannot get to it. It's that desperate dive behind him, just beyond the fingertips. And that's why Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. Propper's low cross into the penalty area. Mopai tries to get his body in front of Saka. It runs to Trossard. Trossard is closed out by Guendouzi. Guendouzi blocks it. Trossard immediately leaps in for a challenge, fouls Guendouzi. Free kick for Arsenal. And apart from the injury to Leno, Mikel Arteta's not made a change yet. Karen?
No, he hasn't. I think he's looking. He's just called someone back. Who's he? Nketiah.
Oh yeah.
He's called in him, so we might see him feature now. But yeah.
Free kick, Arsenal, they lead 1-0. What about the team news from the London Stadium? West Ham Wolves kicks off at 5:30. Brighton fans will have an eye on this one as well, because West Ham, one of those teams down there. What's the news, Henry Moran?
Well, West Ham boss David Moyes did mention that there were some injury concerns. There's no Ogbonna, Snodgrass, Masuako or Sebastian Haller in the starting 11. Jeremy Ngaki are set to leave the club in 10 days' time. Starts. Declan Rice looks to be at centre-back. Wolves, meanwhile, no Adama Traore. Dendoncker preferred in a five-man midfield.
Reports on that one during Sports Report and 6:06, which is coming your way between 6 and 8 o'clock tonight. Chris Sutton alongside Emma Saunders. 08085 909 693 to get your calls in. Latest scorelines in the Championship. I'll bring you in a second as Solly March is side-footing a ball to his right between Mopai and Montoya, but actually not near enough to either of them, so Arsenal have managed to get it back. Aubameyang's immediately given it away. Eddie Nketiah is waiting to come on for Arsenal, who lead 1-0. Byrne wide to Trossard for Brighton. Infield to the Dutchman Davy Propper. The Malian Yves Bissouma in central midfield. Now wide to Solly March, who'll always look to try and get onto that left foot and swing one in from the right-hand side. He's had to play back down the touchline. It's going to be a double change as well. Joe Willock. Heard a nice interview from him on 5 Live Sport ahead of this game, telling a great story about his first visit to the Emirates Stadium when he and his friends only had enough money to share one hot dog between them, and now he's playing for the club that he loves, and he's about to come on in this game here at the Amex Stadium. Arsenal with defending to do. Ball into the far post. Bellerin underneath it, nodded behind for a corner. So latest scorelines in the Championship as things stand. Blackburn lead Bristol City 3-1. Wigan are 2 up at Huddersfield. Charlton still leading at Hull by a 1-0, which means Hull are dropping into the bottom 3. Preston 1 up at Luton. They're in the bottom 3. Barnsley started the day bottom. They are 1 up at QPR though. Reading 1, Stoke 0. Nottingham Forest 1 up at Sheffield Wednesday. And the only game that remains goalless at the Hawthorns is West Brom and Birmingham. Solly March down by the byline. Low cross into the near post. Brighton player stretching. Now is that over the line? Martin Atkinson looks at his watch. Yes, it is. Brighton have themselves the equaliser, and they are gathering around their captain Lewis Dunk, who is in the melee there in the 6-yard box. Arsenal couldn't get it clear. The ball has been bundled over the line, and Brighton have a precious equaliser. It is Brighton 1, Arsenal 1.
Well, they didn't switch on, did they, Arsenal, from the corner? They played it short. And Solly March has just driven in, played a 1-2, got off the short corner, and drived in. He's just put it into an area, and it's come out, tried to defend it, Arsenal, on the line. But Donk's there just to toe poke it over the line, and the referee's given it.
That is brilliant play from Lewis Dunk, almost like a centre forward sensing an opportunity. The ball he knows might be coming his way. He is at full stretch, and as it comes back off Rob Holding, it just hits Dunk's toe and goes over the line. And the change has worked for Brighton. As you've been saying, Karen, last 20 minutes they've been getting better and better, haven't they?
Well, they've been more aggressive and higher up the pitch, and they've got them all, majority of their attacking players on with pace.
Oh, Lacazette flying into Bissouma. Lacazette and Bissouma are both down, and the free kick has gone to Arsenal, and both dugouts up off their feet and complaining about the challenge. It was Lacazette, who I thought had gone in hard on Bissouma. Both players have stayed down. It was a full-on 50-50. Let's have another look at this, Karen. Well, I can see that Bissouma, the challenge is on him, but actually he catches Lacazette, doesn't he, as he comes in. But Lacazette put himself in the way there because he absolutely flew in.
Well, Lacazette flew in, he was lower, and Bissouma's come kind of over the top of him, and they've caught each other in different parts. But I think it's time for Arteta to take him off, because I think Lacazette's just diving in left, right and centre now, I think he got cramp as well in that tackle, just to bring him off now, that security.
Interesting point to make here. I was reading a piece by Matt Dickinson in the Times this week, and I've seen other writers make the point as well about the empty stadiums and sort of players not playing up so much because the fans aren't here. So if a challenge like that goes inside a full stadium, the Brighton fans are all up. And I mean, I know Martin Atkinson read that perfectly and he's given it the other way to Arsenal, but it seems like there's less commotion about that. So there was an initial sort of complaint, but actually things calmed down a lot quicker. Now, obviously, you want the fans inside, you want the atmosphere as well, but that has been one of the benefits, I guess, actually, in the football we've been watching.
Yeah, absolutely. People aren't playing up to the crowd. At the end of the day, people forget footballers are actors, really, not in terms of how they dive, but they have to put on a performance. And sometimes when you have to go down, stay down and do the right thing to help your team, that's what happens. But, that's been the difference in this, not having fans. People just got on with it more, and it's actually been quite good.
Lacazette now off, having picked himself up from the challenge, and Nketiah is on. Kieran Tierney is waiting to come on as well. Where are we heading in the Championship? Again, that's gone in one ear and out the other. Really am very rusty indeed. Loftus Road, Katie Shanahan. Katie.
Yes, there we go. It's still QPR 0, Barnsley 1. Much better from QPR, who are trying all they can to find this equaliser. Bire Eze's strike just blazing over moments ago, and Johan Barbe, who's wearing the captain's armband today after Grant Hall left, his free kick also just skimming the bar. But credit to Barnsley's defence, who are putting up a real fight to hold on to their crucial lead, as it's still QPR 0, Barnsley 1.
Arsenal are waiting to make another change here. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1, and now there's a bit of an argument between one of Mikel Arteta's coaching team and the fourth official, who's Keith Stroud, this afternoon, because Tierney was waiting to come on. Bukayo Saka's going to be coming off, but it looked like they were going to be able to do it, then they weren't, and all a bit of a mess. So Tierney's still waiting to come on. Here's Nketiah, who is on for Arsenal. We've got 12 minutes to play in the game, and it's currently poised at 1-1. Could be a very important point for Brighton, who started today 2 points above the bottom three. Saka still out there at the moment for Arsenal. Back to Guendouzi. On to Bellerin. Bellerin to his right finds the goal scorer Pepe. Nice pass to Ceballos, who took time over the cross. It's blocked by Lewis Dunk, Brighton's goal scorer, and it's behind for an Arsenal corner. So Mikel Arteta is still livid at something, but now he's got his mind back on the game, claps his hands together and encourages his Arsenal team. Kieran Tierney still waiting to get on the field here for Arsenal, who have a corner. Nicolas Pepe jogs on the spot, runs at the ball, fires it in left-footed. Dan Burn heads it away. Bellerin is underneath it, volleys it to his left. Mustafi has to go scarpering out to the left-hand touchline to collect it. Aubameyang comes towards him. Nice turn from Aubameyang. Fancies the shot. Curling shot at Ryan. Almost fooled him. He was diving to his left, threw his way back to his right, and there is an offside flag up as Arsenal were about to appeal for a penalty because Kolasinac was caught by Dunk. But before that, the referee's whistle had blown for a free kick to Brighton. All happening.
I tell you what, Aubameyang's absolutely hit that with full connection, and he's hit it and it's swerving, and Matty Ryan's actually diving to the left, and he's had to quickly adjust his feet. You're just seeing it from this angle now. He's hit it and it actually moves. Matt Ryan's done absolutely wonderful there because it's moving in the air, dipping at pace. It's a good save in the end.
Yeah, very nearly embarrassed there, Matt Ryan, but recovered brilliantly. Saw it slightly late, swerving away to his right-hand side and got a good couple of hands on it. So both teams still looking for a winner here. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Mustafi's clearance is blocked by Mopai. Throw into Arsenal in the right-back position. Point for Brighton takes them to 30. They'd still be 5 behind Newcastle, but crucially just move that little bit further ahead of West Ham on 27. They kick off against Wolves at 5:30, and Bournemouth live on BBC One tonight for their home game against Crystal Palace, the first Premier League game in full on BBC television coming your way this evening at 7:45. Here's Solly March, closed down by a couple of Arsenal defenders. We're into the last 10 minutes of the game. Davy Proper stretches and he can't control it. Arsenal might be able to come on the counter, and Nketiah slightly overrun it, able to play the 1-2 with Ceballos. Bissouma getting back at Nketiah, comes through the back of him. Free kick for Arsenal. I don't know, I just got a feeling, Karen, there might be another goal in this. I know as soon as I say that there obviously won't be, but
it's definitely opening up. But I'm just wondering why Tierney is now was going to go on for Arsenal. What if they used all their subs in that one period that you allowed Arsenal? Because I think, was that what we were arguing about? Or
so who's come on? Willock and Nketiah. No, it's only 2 and the goalkeeper's 3. You're allowed 3 opportunities to make your substitutions. Leno came off in the first half. Just trying to think if Nketiah and Willock came on at the same time, I think, didn't they? Might be worth investigating that. Tierney has sat down. Saka is still out there. He rattled the crossbar in the first half. Still Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Nketiah gets a little friendly shove in the back from Lewis Dunk. Guendouzi on the ball for Arsenal, just outside the Brighton penalty area. Ceballos finds Guendouzi, back to Mustafi. Sports report on the way here on 5 Live from 5 o'clock. Mustafi, high, floating cross towards the far post, drops to Saka, slightly miscues the volley. Aubameyang, nice dummy, shot takes a deflection and loops wide and behind for a corner. And Arsenal have come close again.
Aubameyang's getting into the groove in this last 10 minutes, isn't he? Ball kind of was in the air and he's brought it down. He's just dummied away from one defender and then gets onto his right foot and the defender blocks it out. I think it was Dunk then who got a little touch on it for a corner, but Aubameyang's starting to look lively now.
Corner then. Corner for Arsenal from the left. Pepe with his left foot, an away swinger. Only nodded out as far as the edge of the box. Might drop to Dani Ceballos. Takes a touch with his right foot. Curling ball into the far post. Mustafi's up, heads it down, and Ryan saves. Grabs it with both hands and falls forward onto the ball. 8 minutes plus added time to be played at the Amex Stadium. Here's Dan Burn. Burn down the line to Mopai. Mopai, Hector Bellerin right behind him, trying to get a foot beyond him to win the ball. Mopai's done brilliantly to wriggle out of that. Basuma on the dribble. Gets away from Pepe. Played to Mopai. Mopai's tackled by Kolasinac. Great work again from Neal Mopai to win the corner.
He has, he's done great there. But you know what the difference is? He's actually Connolly coming on. What he's doing is every time he keeps stretching the back line, which is what they didn't have in the first half. He keeps probing the two centre-halves as if the ball's going to get played. He keeps pulling them back, and that gives other players like Mopai, like Trossard, time to receive the ball in pockets. But that's been the difference in the last 15-20 minutes since he's come on. He's really pushed the Arsenal back line back.
Still struggling to work out what's gone on with the Arsenal substitutions. It was only Nketiah who came on. Joe Willock not yet on the field. Kieran Tierney is standing there on the sideline with the bright orange bib on, so may well still get a chance to come on in this game. 6 minutes left of the 90 plus added time, and it's Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Solly March with a pacey corner. Mustafi heads it away, and Nketiah stretches, gets studs on the ball, but it only runs to Basuma. Montoya with his left foot floats a pass out onto the chest of March. Propper's cross right across the face of the Arsenal goal and goes drifting behind harmlessly for an Arsenal goal kick. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Okay, little message here on the attempted Tierney substitution. Our producer Andy Gillies has sent me. BBC Sport website saying they wanted to bring Tierney on at the same time as Nketiah, for some reason didn't. So now possibly waiting for the last substitute window. That is the point. They have used 2 of their windows, and now they want to bring Willock on and Tierney. So that is going to be their last chance to make any substitutions. So we got there in the end. Heading into the closing stages here, and in the 8 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Championship this afternoon. Brighton also with another change coming. You can see Dale Stephens getting ready to come on. It's going to be a triple substitution actually for Arsenal, because Reece Nelson is going to see some game time as well. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Point for Arsenal would take them to 41. Point behind Tottenham, having played the same amount of games. 7 behind Chelsea, who are in 4th, having played a game more than them. And 5 behind Manchester United, sitting in 5th, because of course 5th could still be good enough for Champions League football this season. Brighton trying to chase the ball down. Martinez, Arsenal's replacement goalkeeper today, out to Holding. Now Mustafi bobbling a pass down the right to Bellerin. Into Ceballos, crosses the halfway line, looking for the pace of Bellerin. He's beyond Dan Burn. Chance to get the cross in. In it comes, headed away by Montoya. Ball bounces on the edge of the Brighton box. Trossard was just too small to leap and win the header. It went over him. So here's Ceballos, flicks his pass down the line, blocked by Trossard, and out for a throw into Arsenal. So this is where it does get a little confusing, Karen, because 4 subs are coming on at the same time. So Brighton's change is Trossard off and Dale Stephens on. Okay, dealt with that one. Saka is coming off for Arsenal. How do you think he's done this afternoon? In fact, we'll come back to that in a second, Karen. There's been another goal at Kenilworth Road this afternoon. Jonathan Oberend.
Well, Luton in a fight for survival, of course, in the Championship, and they have an equaliser with just 4 minutes to go. Luton 1, Preston 1, Callum McManaman. It's a brilliant strike, flew into the top corner. Nathan Jones, first match back, wild with excitement on the touchline. Luton 1, Preston 1.
Saka, Ceballos and Pepe have come off for Arsenal. So Nelson and Willock and Tierney have come on. 4 minutes plus added time to go. And still Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Nicolas Pepe with a wonderful curling shot to give Arsenal the lead. They couldn't hold on to that for too long. Nicely worked goal from Brighton. Low cross into the near post. Rob Holding eventually blocked it on the line. Lewis Dunk stretched out a toe. And the ball did indeed cross the line. And Martin Atkinson's watch was working and told him so. Here's Holding for Arsenal. Now Mustafi, chased down by Connolly. Ball forward to Reece Nelson. First touch lets him down, his first touch of the game. Davy Proper coming away with it for Brighton. Nelson chases him, so does Nketiah. Proper looks up, plays a nice ball to his right and finds Montoya. Now forward to Bissouma. Nketiah trying to get back at Bissouma. Holds him off. Montoya for Brighton, plays to his right. Solly March with a little give and go, but he's not going to get the return pass. And now Adam Webster, signed from Bristol City in the summer for Brighton, tries to get them moving forward again. Bissouma looks infield, can only go back to Webster, wide to Montoya. His pass forward is blocked, and it's out for a throw to Brighton. So lots of changes can disrupt the rhythm. Arsenal have just made 3. And it may be that it is going to be honours even here at the Amex Stadium this afternoon. Throw in for Brighton. Don't think they'll be too unhappy with the point. Tough run of home games to come for them. Next up for them, by the way, away at Leicester, also tough on Tuesday night. Montoya brings the ball forward, still bringing it forward. Guendouzi's just going to jockey for position and not go forward and make the challenge. Wide to Solly March. March tries to get away down the right. Holding comes across and clears the ball onto one of those bright blue Brighton banners in the stand opposite us. Throw in for Brighton. Have they got the invention, the wherewithal to try and magic something up here, or is it going to be an 11th game in all competitions without a win in 2020? Montoya's cross deep. Martinez goes a long way to get it for Arsenal. Big man grabs it with both hands. How do you feel Brighton have played, Karen, today?
A lot better the second half. First half they were too deep and too passive and very, very narrow. Second half they've got on and been more attacking and more aggressive in the front and front-footed. And like I said, I think the difference is they've started to run in behind more and cause a threat to the back line of Arsenal, and that's been the difference.
Glenn Murray's not been able to get a look in this afternoon, still sitting on the bench in front of us.
Which is weird, Ali. The way they played in the first half, he would probably suit that. You know, you're not going to run in behind. Put Glenn Murray on, at least he can pin the ball and bring others into play. But this wasn't the type of game for that, so you might as well put your runners and run in behind then.
Kieran Tierney steaming down the left-hand side for Arsenal. March in to try and make a block, gets something on the ball. Montoya clears. Bissouma looks up and just goes long here over the top. Connolly will chase. Martinez well out of his area. Good position, though, the goalkeeper for Arsenal. Heads it to his left-hand side, and we are starting 4 minutes of added time on BBC Radio 5 Live. Blackburn 3, Bristol City 1. Wigan 2 up at Huddersfield. Charlton 1 up at Hull in a big game at the bottom of the Championship table. Luton 1, Preston 1. Recent equaliser for Luton there. Barnsley 1 up at QPR. Reading leading Stoke by a goal to nil. It was an early goal in that game. Nottingham Forest still 1 up at Sheffield Wednesday. Goalless at the Hawthorns between West Brom and Birmingham. Reports and reaction to come in. Sports Report on 5 Live this evening, followed by 6:06. The phone lines will be opening shortly. Here's Joe Willock on the turn for Arsenal. Can they find a late winner? Aubameyang into the feet of Reece Nelson. Nelson spins away and fires a low ball to his right-hand side. Brighton have everyone back. Bellerin, not a great cross, straight at Dunk, clears it away. Mikel Arteta wants the ball straight to a cone to try and get a replacement ball for Arsenal. He senses momentum. There has been another goal at Reading, Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, an early one, like you said, Alistair. Now a late one. Reading 1, Stoke 1. Stoke with the equaliser. It was a corner kick, not cleared by the home side's defence, and Nick Powell was there to poke it home from 4 yards away. Reading 1, Stoke 1.
Thought Arsenal might have just won a corner there. They have won a corner. It's coming shortly. Another goal at Hillsborough, John Akers.
Equaliser for Sheffield Wednesday in the 92nd minute. Connor Wickham from a corner. Didn't even have to jump. Planted his header into the top corner. 1-1.
2 minutes to play of added time here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Arsenal got themselves in front. Brighton have equalised. They've got to defend a corner now. Whipped in from the left. Dan Burn again. Absolute giant. Launches himself at it and heads it away. Brighton waiting to make another late change in the game. Joe Willock on the ball for Arsenal. 35 yards from goal. Plays it across to Matteo Guendouzi. Guendouzi takes it down the right. Dale Stevens in with a strong challenge. Guendouzi goes down. No free kick, but plays it wide to Aubameyang. Curling cross with the left foot. Nodded away by Webster. Bissouma just thumps it clear. Mopai will chase. Kieran Tierney slightly lost that in the sunshine. He's underneath it. He can only head it down to Aaron Connolly. It's 2-on-2, and Connolly was looking for the through ball to Mopai. It didn't quite come off, and Arsenal have intercepted it. Brighton have it again inside their own half. 90 seconds to play. Still Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Are we going to get one last chance? And Montoya's let the ball go out of play because Bissouma's gone down with cramp. Alexis McAllister, the 21-year-old, waiting to come on for Brighton, but he's only going to get a minute of game time or so. What about the intensity of today's game? Karen, this is your first experience of football since the restart. What have you made of it?
I think it's been very good. Brighton's first game. Arsenal have had a game 3 days ago and travel 2 away games for Arsenal. So considering that, I think it's been very, very good. I'm not surprised a few people with cramp. 2 Arsenal players now, Bellerin and Mustafi, crouched down, feeling it now in the last few minutes. But fair play to the players. They've really put in a shift from both sets of sides.
Yves Bissouma comes slowly jogging off, and anyone connected to Brighton, they are the ones applauding at the moment. So Alexis McAllister, I think we will see more of him for Brighton in the run-in. Really interesting story. Born in Argentina, they got him from Argentinos Juniors in January 2019. He went back on loan to them and also to Boca, and now they've recalled him to get involved. Made his debut for the first team here as a substitute against Wolves in the last game before lockdown. Central midfielder. We're not going to see much of him this afternoon, but I think that is a name to watch out for. Alexis McAllister. And interesting, the surname is split. It's Mac, M-A-C, and then Allister, A-L-L-I-S-T-E-R. Interesting if you're interested in those sort of things. You may not be. Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. 50 seconds to play. Davy Proper, that was clever. Little flick over the right shoulder. Here's McAllister. Might play an important part. Connolly round the corner to Mopai. Mopai shot. Oh, Brighton have won it! Brighton have won it with seconds to play. What a finish from Neil Mopai from the tight angle. Alexis McAllister started the move, knocked into Aaron Connolly. Lovely link up between the strikers. That is going to be a massive win for Brighton in the relegation battle. Brighton 2, Arsenal 1. That is a superb team goal.
What a goal that was! It started with a little cheeky flick over the head from Proper, finds it into McAllister, plays it into Morpay, dummers it, and he gives it back to him, and it's a lovely left-footed finish. It's a wonderful bit of play. Over, flicks it round the corner on his weaker foot, left foot, and just bends it round the keeper. But what a team goal that is, as you said. But just dinks it over, and you saw no fans in here, but there was absolutely jubilation from this bench here in front of us. What a goal.
Well, that is massive for Brighton. Just looking at the Premier League table, a win, and I'm sure it's going to be confirmed as a win, will take them to 32 points. So suddenly they leap 5 points above Bournemouth and West Ham, who play this evening. Brighton, of course, were absolutely desperate not to play at the neutral venues. They've ended up playing at home. They've taken on one of the big boys today, and that is going to be a double over Arsenal this season. They beat them at the Emirates earlier in the season by 2-1. They were 1-0 down here, and they lead 2-1. They've now got to close it out. Mustafi's ball forward. What have you spotted, Karen?
Just as Morpay was going back. So let this cross in.
Yeah, go on. Bellerin's trying to get the crossing out for a corner. What happened?
Aubameyang was giving off to Morpay.
Right, all over. Brighton 2, Arsenal 1, and now Guendouzi approaches Neil Morpay, who scored the winning goal. He pushes him. Morpay goes to ground very easily. All the players gather around each other. Now we've got some rather unseemly scenes on the pitch. But that is what it means to both teams, because Arsenal have restarted the season with back-to-back defeats, so any faint hopes of Champions League football have probably disappeared out of the window. But what a win for Brighton. 1-0 down late in the game. They've won it 2-1. And you spotted that early, Karen. So Mopai scored the goal. Aubameyang and Mopai were having words. Guendouzi's clashed with him afterwards, and it's carrying on now.
I think what it is they're all fuming about that Leno challenge, and I actually saw the replay. And when the goalkeeper got injured, it's still kicking off.
Yeah, they're losing it. Guendouzi's losing his head here. He's got to get out of this. He's turned and he's come marching back for more. Dan Burns said something to Matteo Guendouzi and he reacted. He turned and he went straight back towards Scalotto. Arsenal have got to get him out of there because he's going to do something very silly in a minute. Arsenal are annoyed. They've lost the game, but they're missing David Luiz through suspension. They've had their goalkeeper injured today. They've got lots of other players out injured. Things are not going well for Mikel Arteta, and they have lost their heads late in the game. But Karen, final quick word on this. What a wonderful winning goal from Brighton, and could even be the moment that keeps them up. I mean, I know they're not safe yet, but that's huge for them.
You do practices like that all day in training, and for it to come off in the game, little over from Maupay, gets it back, flicks it around the corner, and a beautiful finish. It's what strikers dream of with their partner.
Big 3 points for Brighton, Steve. Just as the players are leaving the field, I can see Mesut Ozil asking Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang what had gone on, and Aubameyang just seemed to intimate that Neil Maupay had said something. He was sort of moving his hand up and down as if, you know, yappy, chatty, so obviously has not taken well to what was said. Arsenal have got wound up. They've lost their heads at the end of the game. Magnificent win for Brighton. Brighton 2, Arsenal 1. Full